Disappointed for Stacker I was in this game. It was a good game if you're a Parramatta supporter. It was a frightful game if you're a Penrith supporter. Penrith really had no answer at all. They really, at no stage did they look like getting on top of the Parramatta side. They only got over the line once and they were tackled into touch and goal. But it was a very good, strong display by Parramatta, interspersed with some positively brilliant football. And this Parramatta side under coach pointed out. Now that was, well, I think good for Levy in a way, because he wasn't doing anything going around in reserve grade.
Well, it was quite right. I don't think he could make the grade. Well, he had two full-backs. There was Phil Mann and young Neil Hunt. Then he's got centre three-quarters, so the opportunities for him to go and play with another first-grade club. And I think Mark Levy would be quite happy at that stage of the game too to go.
How did Melrose go, Rich?
Oh, quite useful. The backs are firing, so 5'8's got to be doing his job.
He's doing his job. One Peter Sterling.
Yeah, Sterling's having a top go. He's a mobile little player. He does a lot. Bear O'Reilly, I thought, was clearly the best player on the field for subtlety and skill. I think he lost about 3.5 kilos in weight. The heat was enormous up there. Must have been 10 degrees hotter up there than it was anywhere else was around the coast. Penrith frittered away possession while losing the ball. There was some very ordinary tries scored. That was young Mackenzie, who just came on, scored 2 tries in the dying moments of the game. He's not a half-back looking type. He's a lanky, rangy sort of a boy. That man again. There's Mackenzie again.
When he's on that man, is it? It's hard to tackle.
Because he thrived on the rather... That's the sort of thing that happened a fair bit. And this is the sort of thing Sterling did about it, picking up the dregs out of to go quickly along the line. Growth, of course, was enjoying himself out in the wing too. And
where did
Sterling.
He followed that ball right across the field.
He does that all the time. He's got an incredible work rate, Sterling. He really is a top player.
Plays about 2 stone above him, so
it looks like Parramatta's on the attack.
Yes, well, allowing for very weak opposition. I again repeat, I was very sorry for Len Stacker, who is a wholehearted coach with an absolutely parochial view about his club, that he wants to succeed, he wants his players to have dignity, he wants his players to hold their heads high. I was very disappointed for him, not so much for the players. Players make or break their own destiny on the football field, but coaches can only prepare them to the best of their ability and send them out there, and if the guys don't do it, well, the coach is the man that gets egg on his face. And I was given some disturbing information, I hope it's untrue, that another player, another former first-grade coach, was approached with a view to being the Penrith coach for this year. I hope it's untrue. I hope they're not going to start the knives in the back business up there again.
You might have just started that, Rex.
No, I didn't. Evidently, he was being treated there, and he stopped being treated to complete a tackle.
On his good side.
Alf Richards was on the field at the time, and you'll see Alf holding the there they are on the sideline. Alf wanted to put it back in, but Edgy saying, no, not now, not now, and you'll see Alf Richards display it. Now he says, what you do is I'll keep an eye out for you. Pretty strong tackle here on Big Phil Mann. This is the sort of tackling that's got to take place to stop him. You'll see Warren Fenton go in and up and down him. Could have close to a spear tackle that, but he landed on his shoulder. That was one of the things. Now, particularly for younger players, young forwards, don't develop into boneheads. Think. Do what Bob O'Reilly does and try to unload the ball. He does this very well with a new little ploy, as you're going to see. A little underarm flick to Beecher, one of the replacements. Doesn't get anywhere, this particular one. Doesn't get anywhere, that one. But not very long after that, he was able to put his skipper in for a try. Watch this little pass again. Here's the bear coming on. I'm talking to forwards that like to just run at people and not think. Now watch the big bloke.
Yeah, that's set.
Now this is a set-piece move. It's clever stuff. O'Reilly takes the defence and puts Price at a gap, and that player 2 yards from the line's unstoppable, and he goes in for what turned out to be a very easy try, all because there's a bit of thought, a little bit of thought.
Stop him from having another year. I expected a big-name coach like that to come in.
During your career with Parramatta, you've led the side more often than not. Are you disappointed that you're not captain now? And did you enjoy the extra authority of being captain of Parramatta?
I think it gives you incentive. I do miss the captaincy, but it's a new coach. He's got his priorities. I'm quite happy where I am. I'm quite happy to be playing first grade, and out on the field, it's not really one leader. It's the 13 players, and if everyone does their job, you know, a captain is not even needed.
Jack Gibson's noted for new ideas, and in the Parramatta side there are several long service internationals. Do you think that you can teach an old dog new tricks?
It's not. He doesn't really teach you new tricks. It's just basic sort of things that Jack gets us to do. Now, if you can do the basic things right, which is 75% of a game, you'd be surprised how good your team can be.
You've achieved everything in football except a premiership. Can it happen this year, and if so, why?
Well, I'd like to think we can achieve the premiership this year. We're going all right at the moment. There's a lot of room for improvement. I think, as was commented a while ago, Manly will be our biggest test. But, you know, South Sydney, they're no slouch team. They're going to upset a lot of teams. So I think if we can keep our defence going, we'll see how we go at the end of the year.
Ray, you're on camera now playing against Penrith last week. I spoke to you before we came on here, and you said that Penrith did provide a lot of opposition early.
Oh, yeah, gee. We may have beaten them 26-0, but they didn't really stop until about the last 10 minutes. You know, we scored, I'd say, 4 tries in about the last 10 minutes. But up until then, gee, it was a solid old game.
How much longer does Ray Price want to play football for?
Well, when I first started, I set myself till 32, so I've got 5 years.
How long have you got to go with Parramatta?
My contract finishes at the end of 82.
The French are coming. Are you looking for revenge like a lot of the other players from that 1978 side?
Yeah, I'd like to play against the French team again. Maybe not for revenge, because you can't really blame the players. It was the idiots back there in France. But yeah, I'd love to play for Australia again, especially against France.
Okay, Ray, have you taken your new super drink before today's game? I must ask you this.
I haven't had it, no. I've only tried it once, and it was very syrupy and gave me a few reactions, so
a few reactions. You're up a little bit late that night.
Oh, not quite up, but I was pretty gassy.
Okay, so you won't be taking it before today's game?
Oh, no, I'm not going to try it straight away. I'll just see how it goes, and, you know, it's been proven over in Finland and Sweden and all places like that, so you're looking for energies, so it's one way of getting it.
What's the last question? What's the reaction today? Greg Hartley is back at Cumberland Oval.
I don't think we're really worried about Greg Hartley. Greg Hartley's a referee. If we do what we're told, do our job, you know, we shouldn't have any business talking to him or going anywhere near him. So
those memories of 78 are gone as far as you're concerned?
Well, 78, gee, that's a long way back, isn't it?
That is. Ray Price, thank you. Over to you, Case.
Thanks, Peter, and good luck this afternoon, Ray. And I'm sure that syrup that...
I'll tell you what, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going for Parramatta just. I know they've played, they've had in the trot, but I think this is the time where they're most dangerous, because they're facing a long, hard season. Newtown are going to be hard to beat, but I'm going to favour Parramatta.
Frank?
I'll go with Tommy and the boys. I think they might cause a bit of an upset up there today.
Yes, I think Newtown are going through, Parramatta are going through a little bit of a slump at the moment, and it's the opportunity, I think, for Newtown to really give them something today. No?
I saw St George and Newtown, and they impressed me no end. Newtown, if they play the same sort of football today and put it right on Parramatta, they'll make it very interesting. If they do get beaten, they won't get beaten by much, and they'll go down fighting.
Now, a point either way, and I slightly favour Parramatta at Cumberland.
Well, Newtown did beat Parramatta at Henson Park last year, remember that?
Yeah, right.
No, well, they did. But I'm going for Parramatta because the home ground influence, they crowd behind them, they can just get up there. But it'll be a very close
to pull their fingers out.
Ooh, lovely. All right, well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen and children. We've gone through. I favour the Newtown side in this game, again, because Parramatta have had the midweek match. So that's the way we see all these particular things. I hope that Mick Cronin's leg injury is not as severe as I've heard it could be. I'm hopeful it's nothing to do with Achilles tendons. They're a terrible injury. So, Mick, if you're listening or watching, let's hope that injury of yours is going to come up. Just one little plea to the touch judges this afternoon all round the grounds. Do watch for interference. Bowstead was interfered with on 2 occasions yesterday when he was trying to get in support of a man who'd made a break on the inside. Touch judges, watch very carefully what's going on. Yes, we've got pictorial evidence, and you're obviously coaching your players to do it.
No, I'm not.
Boo!
Not
boo!
guilty.
Anyway, Frank Stanton, thanks for coming on and being part of our show today. We've always enjoyed having Frank on. I'm giving you the wrong one there, mate. We can't do that. You're definitely not an amateur, are you? No way, he's an amateur. We're going to give Frank for being a good lad and coming on the show a 2-litre container of Mr. Juicy orange juice, Dunlop World Star football boots. They're light and flexible with soft goatskin uppers, a delicious ham from Meepo, the small goods.
The Cumberland Cowgirls is modelled on the famous American cheer squad, the Dallas Cowgirls. Starting outfits cost Lyndall $3,500, and even though the girls are professional, they perform free for the Parramatta Leagues Club at football matches and other promotional activity. Cowgirls are a very disciplined outfit, to the point that Lyndall has barred the girls from going out with Parramatta footballers. Lyndall says a professional conflict of interest. And Lyndall was very matter-of-fact when I suggested the girls were easier on the eye than Bob O'Reilly and his mates.
Yes, from a male's point of view, I think the girls would rather go and watch the guys.
Can I ask, are they league fans? Are you league fans?
Yes.
Which is the best club?
Parramatta.
Who will win the premiership? Well, they might not win the premiership, but they'll certainly win a lot of hearts.
Of course, my only question, and it's quite a serious one, it's probably got the people at Cumberland very worried at present. Now, they're the Cumberland Cowgirls. When Jack Gibson has his way and changes the Parramatta team from the Eels to the Rams, and the Parramatta Rams are the football teams, what happens to those poor girls? Do they become the Cumberland Oval Ramettes or the Cumberland Oval Ewes? I don't know about that. Let's get back to football. Here are the teams for Parramatta and Newtown at Cumberland this afternoon, and there are some changes. In the Parramatta lineup, Michael Cronin is out and Tony Melrose is in. John Muggleton is out and Graham Atkins comes onto the wing. And in the forwards, Kevin Stevens is out of the lineup earlier this week, and John Beecher, the boy from up the mid-coast, is into the side. Now let's have a look at Newtown. There's only one change there at Newtown, and that is Craig Ellis comes in for Steve Blythe. And, of course, Bugden was out earlier in the week and didn't get his name into the program. So they're the team changes, and now with his fearless forecast, here is Peter Peters.
Well, I'm glad that Tony Melrose has finally been accepted back into this Parramatta side. He served his penance in reserve grade for daring to tell a member of the media why he was dropped from the Tooth Cup side. Well, that's the situation at Parramatta, and Melrose, brilliant footballer that he is, has now learnt that there's only one voice to come out of Cumberland, and that's the voice of the coach, Jack Gibson. And Jack's obviously had his opinions verified by the Parramatta selection committee, if there is one, with him, because John Beach is in the side. He's in the second row now, and Beach is a player that's untried. He's 26 years of age, and he's stepping into a spot that Kevin Stevens has vacated through injury, and Lou Platt's an international player who's got plenty of pace, something that's lacking very much in this Parramatta pack, is going elsewhere, and will probably sign a contract with Penrith this week. The match, Newtown could become the third side in the last week to beat Parramatta, but the Cumberland Oval home ground advantage could see the Eels home, and I'm tipping them to just scrape through. Newtown haven't got their side at full strength, although Tommy Rodonicus and Kenny Wilson will be driving this Newtown side on. They've got a good young pack. Phil Gill's a player I'm very excited about, and he could add a lot of variety to the Newtown side. But Parramatta, I don't think they're as good as everyone's making them out to be. As a matter of fact, I don't think they'll make the 5, but I tip them to beat Newtown today.
Thanks, Peter. That was indeed a fearless forecast. After this commercial break, which is totally fairness because we want the money, we'll be back with more Rugby League.
So we then assume that Newtown probably come up with a pair of pedestrian halfbacks. Would I be right, or are you going to throw a punch?
No. I think that Kenny Wilson is a good footballer. But
he's no doubt he's a good footballer. No doubt he's got ball skills, but he can't run
that's
fast.
up for you to criticise. I'd like to say nothing about it. But the thing is,
right.
on this performance, we wouldn't have beat Blacktown A grade. That's how bad we played.
Well, also young Stephen Ella was made to look an absolute giant, wasn't he?
We played dreadful, and Parramatta, they deserved their win. They were a lot better than us, but I don't think they even played that well. So it says a lot for us. But at least we did improve yesterday. Our defence was better. And we're on the way up now, and you'll see a better Newtown from here on in, I can assure you.
Tom,
Well,
I saw
Tom,
you
I was
play.
up
That was
I was
shocking.
up there, Tom, and you'd have to be a better Newtown from then, because
That's
that was your
shocking, wasn't it?
flat. It was a low game from the Newtown side.
We were terrible.
But by the same token, Parramatta did really play well. They moved the ball wide on the flanks. They used intelligent kicking. Sterling, the halfback, Sterling and Ella, both had great games. And as you said, Ella was made to look good. Melrose, Brett Kennedy scored 2 beautiful tries. And from the Parramatta angle, after being defeated 2 weeks running, it was really a top performance. And as we already mentioned, don't want to belabor it, but Newtown played badly, but Parramatta did move well. It was a top performance on their behalf.
See, things like that shouldn't happen from dummy half. Good try. Like, he's a very good footballer, but that was just bad play by us.
In defence of Kenny Wilson there, he's not playing for a couple of weeks. He's away. I saw
He's
some
away.
criticism of him being away, and Newtown club officials not happy with him, but I believe that they knew before the game, before the season even started, he would be taking this trip on. He was supposed to take it
that's
last
right,
year. I
yeah.
think that should
Barry
be explained,
Jensen
Tom.
spending 5 minutes in the
I think
sin
that
bin.
should be explained to viewers because he's been criticised unduly.
No,
One
that's right.
wonders
Well, everybody knows, everybody knew that, and the club knew it. Nobody's dirty about him going to America because it's his job.
Cole Pearce, let me direct a question at you. Just referring back to that Manly West fiasco last week, do you think that maybe if Greg Hartley had used the sin bin in the opening couple of minutes of that game, that we mightn't have had a nasty incident that's dragged rugby league down?
Well, I always believed that if a fellow was, if it's serious enough, the incident, I think the sin bin shouldn't be used at all. He should be sent from the field of play.
I couldn't agree more.
I
I was up
agree
there,
with
Rex, and
I wasn't
honestly,
at the game.
if anything had to be done,
Get rid of
perhaps
them.
send them off, get rid of them.
Well, get
But
them
I'm
out
sure
public
that the
eye.
way that they
Kenny's going marvellously well in the centre.
very quick, very intelligent player.
Now, I don't recommend as an exercise in fun running into Big Bob O'Reilly, and ask Stephen Edge. That's nice, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, Ned, like some of those Newtown blokes, Phil Sigsworth, Ray Blacklock, Shane McKellar, you've got to give them blokes rap because, geez, they're going to be an asset to
Phil
us this
Sigsworth,
year.
I just-
Phil
great
Sigsworth,
player.
brilliant.
Well, I think Blacklock. Now, I went and saw you play St George at Cogra in the pre-season, Tom, and you played a blind. It was a top game of footy although I would admit that...
It's so much. What's the difference?
I think the side's going particularly well, and it's a lot easier to play well in a good side, which we've got out at Parramatta Way this year, and I think reaping the benefits of playing with good players.
But last year and the year before that, your form was spasmodic. You'd have a good game every now and again, then a quiet one, and then another good one. But you've been so consistent.
Well, I think a lot comes with experience too. I haven't played a lot of first-grade games, and I think consistency is something that comes with the more that you play, so it's going well at the moment.
I've seen the 3 matches you've played in the Premiership so far. Last weekend against Canterbury, for example, you were in top form. You were distributing the ball, you were making breaks, you were doing everything.
Yes, well, it was a good game last week. I enjoyed playing, and I think there was the added incentive of playing the Premiers, which tends to make you produce a better effort than normally you would. So I enjoyed it last week, and I like playing against Steve Mortimer, which was an added incentive as well.
Does Jack Gibson give you specific instructions, or does he give you a free hand to play your own game?
Well, Jack's got his own ideas, but one thing he doesn't do is take away your individuality, and I think that shows with our play. We don't follow a game plan as such, but to any great extent we play it as the game comes, and hope that's the right way.
There will be 11 other district club secretaries wanting to know your contractual situation with Parramatta.
I'm with Parramatta until the end of 81 on contract with them, so...
Well, there you are. You're a free agent after the end of the year.
Well, maybe so, yeah.
All right, well, that's fine. A great effort for the last 3 matches, particularly last weekend. You'll receive a $200 cheque from Tooth. And also, Peter Peters from Rugby League Week has asked me to give you the Parramatta watch, which is available exclusively through Rugby League Week, through a money order system they have. Take that, wear it with pride, and congratulations on great form.
Thanks very much, thank you.
Up to 9 minutes. If Parramatta plays this attacking style of football all year, pity help the other teams.
Yeah, well, that was a big blow to South Sydney. That was the turning point of the game. They were attacking, and that was the first time that Parramatta had been into their territory, incidentally.
And this is the one that put the cream on it. Sterling playing superb football, handling twice to go in to make it 10-2. The 25th minute coming up now, and it's Sterling again.
That's pathetic defence though, boys.
It is, isn't it? Shocking.
O'Reilly unloading to a half-back, and he's gone straight through 3 forwards. Hang your heads in shame. Mick Cronin made a good return to football yesterday after a long layoff.
You know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering when the pressure is on and they get to, you know, look like being close to a semi-final contention, etc., whether they'll go back to closing it up the old style, the old Parramatta style of, you know, falling back and not this free-flowing football that we've got now.
Well, I don't think fellas like Ella could change his style of play, Case. I don't really.
I haven't seen Mick Cronin run that far into the season.
No, I haven't seen him make as many breaks from set play as he made yesterday.
South Sydney were keyed up for this game, you know. They really thought they were going to win it. But, gee, looking at this, you'd wonder why they would think that.
Hard to believe they were the heroes of last year who won so many games on end to make the semi-finals.
Yes, look at that tackle by Tunks. Just held his arm out, one arm, and Parramatta players after the game couldn't believe
isn't
the
this
weak
kid
defence.
good? Is Kenny?
Yeah, he's a good player. They're a good back line, and I'm very impressed with the way Sterling's improved.
This should never have been a try.
No.
This is the player that's a good player, Ella. There's Mick.
There's not one player in the Parramatta back line that you could criticise in any way yesterday.
No, but the South Sydney defence was absolutely dreadful. Look at that.
And got worse as the game went on, incidentally.
Remarkable that Parramatta stuck for so long with that slower back line, always saying they didn't need any pace. Now they've got Ella and Kenny in the side. They're going like champions.
Gee, I like the look of Neville Glover. No, you know, no long hair.
That's the worst haircut I've ever seen.
It's the best haircut. He looks like a footballer. Good on you, Nev Glover. Love it.
Looks stupid, Neville.
I tell you what, like
What do you
Sampson.
mean?
Oh, it's a dreadful haircut.
It's a great haircut. I love Copper's haircuts.
Constable Glover.
Some of the Parramatta
It's a
players
sensible
refused to
haircut.
pass him the ball yesterday with that haircut.
No, congratulations, Neville Glover. I loved it.
Well, Sampson might have lost his strength by having his hair cut. I think Neville's lost a bit of pace losing his hair because he was caught from behind there once.
Well, that's nothing. Don't worry about that.
Parramatta forwards with Peter Wynn out, they lack a lot of runners, although yesterday the forwards
had a great game.
Beecher did have a good game, and he's a good player, but I just wonder how they'll go when they come up against a very strong tackling pack.
I wonder if they're regretting already letting Lou Platts go now that Wynn's out.
Yeah, that's going to later in the season perhaps be a decision that they'll regret, because it's a body blow losing Win for the whole season for Parramatta. All right, fellas, let's have a commercial break and we'll be back for some more of the World of Sport. There's no changes to the Cronulla team, I believe, and we haven't been able to check Parramatta out. Is that correct?
Well, South Cronulla, there was a phone call through here just a few moments ago, and I hadn't had the chance to check it out, but it was that Steve Rogers is out, but I'd be very surprised.
So would I, because
that's right.
well, we can throw some light on that. Ian Maurice, you talked to Greg Pearce this morning, and I was there at 10 o'clock. What was the result of that?
As per program, no changes. Everyone fit and raring to go.
Well, I don't understand that.
Neither do I.
I might add too, Case, that there are some funny phone calls going around. Yesterday, one of the Manly players was hauled from the field in first grade and told that his wife was involved in a car smash and she was sitting in the grandstand. And we're purposely ignoring these sort of calls because they've happened frequently this season.
Right. Yes,
and if people get fun out of that, you know, they must be sick. So whoever you are, drop off.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Cronulla and Parramatta, well, let's go with no changes. Jack Gibson during the week, of course, had plenty to say that Greg Hartley is handling this clash down at Endeavour Field. It's the top game today, and after Hartley's threat of litigation against Jack Gibson, it is indeed hard to understand how the Rugby League could allow Hartley to continue, why they wouldn't swap him away from this match just to take some of the heat off it. Anyhow, let's have a talk now with Ian Maurice and Jack Gibson.
Jack, do you think the appointment of Hartley by the referees appointments board to your game on Sunday has aggravated this situation?
Well, it's certainly surprising to me that the league has allowed the referees appointment board to nominate him for this game, because as far as Hartley is concerned, there must be a tremendous amount of pressure that they put on him for this game. But more surprisingly is that a man of Hartley's supposed integrity would accept our fixture when he's just served a letter of demand from me. It's like a writ. I'm not quite up with the legal aspects of it, but it says in the paper here where he demands compensation.
Do you think that serving a writ, or call it what you like, against you is obviously going to put a lot of pressure on both parties?
Well, there's a tremendous amount of pressure even before this existed. And naturally, it has gained a lot of momentum. Something that I have no control on who appoints our referees, and I'd like to have a say in who we do get, but not who we get, if you understand what I mean.
Would the Parramatta club continue to play under Hartley if the situation doesn't alter?
the Parramatta club has got to play under Hartley if they continue to do this to us.
So it's merely a situation between you and he, nothing to do with the club?
Well, he served the writ on me. It's got nothing to do with Parramatta. Well, I don't know if it's a writ or not, a letter of demand of some description, as I explained earlier. I'm not quite sure. I'll get that clarified later. But I've got a statement here. I had a prepared statement where I've had some advice on, and this is more or less contained in the paper. It's, Mr. Hartley alleges he has suffered great personal distress relating to certain recent newspaper publications, and that he has been gravely injured in his character, credit, reputation, and has been brought into public ridicule, hatred and contempt. Whilst it is not appropriate for me to make any comment at this, of these allegations at this stage, as the same must be dealt with elsewhere, it is appropriate for me to consider, in the best interest of the League, Parramatta Club, and indeed Mr. Hartley, the wisdom, notwithstanding he would act impartially, of appointing him to control a Parramatta game whilst he is possessed of this attitude. And that's probably it in a nutshell.
Of course, the Cronulla coach, Greg Pearce, played it a lot differently. His star player, Steve Rogers, wrote a very appealing column in today's Sunday Telegraph saying that they're only too happy to play under Hartley, and that, of course, well, I suggest you have a look at it. I can't comment. Let's see now what Greg Pearce, the diplomat, has to say about playing under Mr. Hartley this afternoon.
Greg, the heat is really on Hartley and on Parramatta. Does that take the heat off Cronulla?
No, not at all. We just treat it as another game. Parramatta are the gun side at the moment, leading the competition. Greg Hartley is the top of the tree of the referees at the moment, or he's been judged that way, and we just take it to the game as it comes. We look forward to the game.
You don't approach this game any differently to any others because of the circumstances surrounding Hartley and Parramatta?
The circumstances haven't sort of involved us at all, so we have our own game preparation, which we're just going through as a matter of course. What they do is up to them, I guess.
Would you see the game going any differently, and I'm talking about Parramatta, because of the circumstances that surrounded the Parramatta and Hartley? Would you see them adopting an approach that will keep them on side with a referee that they seem to have had so much problems with?
I don't think so much they've been offside with the referee. It may be just a question of a few of his decisions. Important decisions, I'm not quite sure what the extent of their importance is, but I don't think the players are offside. Once the players get out onto the park, they're totally involved in the game. They don't really have time on a lot of occasions to adjudicate on a very touchy situation because they can't really see it anyway, so they're not involved in the analysis of a referee's performance. They're only here to play football.
But Parramatta fellows, they read the newspapers. It's obviously in the back of their mind, and it's something that you as a coach, you know, the psychological build-up to your side would be making your fellows very much aware of.
No, not at all. This is a game of football to us. I don't care who referees it. You know, we're playing Parramatta this weekend. It doesn't worry me who's in charge of the middle. To me, you know, he should be not non-involved, but he should be in the background. That's the way good referees operate, you know. So it doesn't matter to us who it is.
It's worth people through the gates, though, isn't it?
Well, I'd think so. It's sold a few newspapers this week, and it's probably going to get a bit of television mileage, but maybe some people will come over to see a performance from the referee. I don't think they should. I think they should be there to watch 26 first-grade footballers go around.
That's probably the way it'll be. Greg Pearce must be having a bit of moonlighting extra jobs there because he's playing football somewhere. Do you see the...
He's playing in the Domain.
Well, he's got the black eye there to prove he's playing in the Domain, is he?
He's playing for the Waterboard.
It's touch
football. He
football.
can't play for the Waterboard.
It's touch.
He can't play for the...
He gets a black eye playing touch football.
Well, they're allowed to tackle.
That figures. All right, there you have it. Gentlemen, once again, it goes on and on. What do you say now, Peter?
Oh, this whole thing, I just looking forward to a great game of football this afternoon. I think that the public's sick of Hartley versus Gibson. I think Hartley's sick of Gibson versus Hartley, and I think from Jack's interview there, where he's produced that letter of demand, which incidentally was given to him last Friday week and was only produced in the middle of this week. That interests me a bit. But
a letter of demand is a pretty cheap shot, to use a Jack Gibson turn of phrase, isn't it? That's a 5-bob solicitor's letter, whereas to take out of it, it's a couple of $1,000. So, you know, what is a letter of demand? I don't know what it amounts to even.
Well, I think it indicates that that if the what the referee terms as constant barrage of unfair criticism towards him in his profession as a referee, he might do something about it.
Right. That's a point taken, but let us never lose the opportunity to make criticism where it is justified.
Yeah, I think Jack's got avenues to criticise people, and he does it very well, and he mightn't do it so well now that the league have got a $15,000 fine on people who don't do it the right way. It should go to the league first case, whether we like it or not.
Well, that's certainly, they're not going to gag us any further. The league has gagged criticism of so many aspects of the game so successfully that they are not going any further, and I hope that the journalists on this panel don't let them take over censoring what goes in the newspaper, because that is just about a step away now.
They're not trying to censor us. They're trying to censor the people that they've got no control over us.
But my friend, they're censoring the source. If you fellows can't walk up to a coach after a match and say, "Sir, what did you think of that game?"
I can't, not with Gibbo.
No, you can't.
I tell you what, I'd love to talk a bit of football.
Yes, me too.
All right, Frank, who's going to win, Cronulla and Parramatta?
Well, this is a difficult one, Case. This is a weekend of surprises. After yesterday, anything can happen in rugby league, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if there were a few upsets here today. I favour Parramatta to beat Cronulla on the score of their recent performances, particularly against Souths last week. But of course, Cronulla beat St George, and that was a top side too.
Don't dazzle me, Frank. Just give it to me straight and simple.
No, yes or no with me, Case. You tried that out in the thing there, and I won't be in it. I feel that.
Excuse me.
In the what thing? Where?
My wife is watching this program. Would you make that statement clear?
Can we talk?
No. I would like you to go back. Replay that, please. Replay it.
Well,
please clear my name.
Out where we were getting our faces put on.
Oh, it's making it worse. Frank, they will talk about us. Mate, we're both family, Mel, and we have reputations to protect.
Me in that respect, Case.
No. All right.
Right. I favour Parramatta, who are leading the competition and playing the second team to draw a big crowd here today to see the football and not the referee.
Okay,
and I think that Parramatta will win it.
Give us a kiss and your selection, Ian Maroos.
Look, it's been proven you can't go on form anymore, but I don't know of any other way to go, and I'm tipping Parramatta to win.
All right, we've got all Parramatta so far. Peter Peters, you played for them for one season before you woke up.
Yes.
They were your words. What's your selection?
Well, I've tipped Parramatta to win their 3 games that they have won, and I've tipped them to win very easily. But I think today they'll face a side that can beat them in the forwards. I think Cronulla's pack is by far stronger than Parramatta's, where they are very light on in ball runners, and I think Cronulla can beat Parramatta today at Endeavour Field.
Cronulla can beat Parramatta?
Yeah.
If I won't give you my opinion, Case, would you hit me with a letter of demand? Or...
Yes, I would.
Sweet,
immediately on next week's show.
I'll accept this as a letter of demand. Mate, I'll stick with Parramatta. I think they'll win comfortably up there. I think by about 10 points. I think they'll blitz
By the
Cronulla.
way, to everyone at Rugby League Week, congratulations on this great exclusive story. Front page, Peter Peters. It's the story of how kids are being talked into going back to school and paid $1,000 in order to win and play in a TV Commonwealth Cup series. It's a great story. It's a scandal. But it's a story that should be read by everyone that's interested in rugby league and everyone who's interested in schoolboy football. Back after this break.
Wonder today with the power of the tackling on both sides. Haddock, Khan, and that's 6. We've had 25 minutes in this first half. The scrum situation is this. Lamming for Cronulla has come up with a 1 scrum lead, 10-9. Over Parramatta's Stephen Edge. The penalties are 9-8 in favour of Cronulla. And the scrum win to Cronulla. Malone back to his brother, Nick Malone. Haddock, Rogers, John Byrne. Byrne burst the first line. Byrne's going to be penalised for players not being back to 5. Parramatta are going to be penalised. Let's see that again. It's a critical penalty because it's a 2-pointer fairly close to the post. Now look, the referee Hartley gets up and plays it forward. And he points straight at Stevens. Still 13.5 minutes to go. Rogers can make it almost unassailable. 12 goals from 16 attempts. Success rate 75.7%. 33.0. 12 goals and 3 tries for 33 points thus far in this year's competition. The value of a top quality footballer, whether he be out of position at lock or in the centre. There he is with another 2 points. 15 Cronulla, 7 Parramatta. They'll be setting the Harbour Bridge alight over there at North Sydney. The last progress score we've had, and we'll give you the full details at the end of this coverage. 36-5, North Sydney leading St George. Harry Bath will have committed suicide, one would think.
Bob O'Reilly has left the field and McDonald is now on. McDonald's 22, Rex, and weighs close to 16 stone, about 101 kilograms.
And he's playing in number
17.
Ricketts away to Rogers. There's that Sorensen charge again. It's going to Burn. Burn unloads, put the glasses down now. There's no defence at all as Rickberg skirts away. There's a chase from Atkins, but it's underneath the post virtually. Burn was able to crack the defence. He's had a much improved second half. And with still 12 minutes to go, the floodgates have at least temporarily opened against Parramatta, and Cronulla are surging away. See this again, Rogers. Now watch the bull-like charge of Sorensen. Kurt into Byrne. His pass to Burke left the defence threadbare. Plenty of backing up there from Mick Malone. And he puts it down just near the right-hand upright. That'll give Rogers a simple kick at goal. That pass back inside from Kurt Sorensen was a magnificent one. Burke, as all good players will do, came round and simplified the angle of the kick, judged it to a nicety. Almost directly in front. And Rogers adds the extras, so the score moves along. A very comfortable one from the Cronulla point of view. 20 points to 7. No undefeated sides in the 1981 Rugby League competition in first grade. Yeah. Looks like a Penrith Norths grand final. Ricketts has stopped everybody. Melrose was off balance but did a very good tackle. Let me tell you. Dane Sorensen standing very deep now. Byrne wrapped up. Everything happening for Cronulla. Enthusiasm. Kurt Sorensen. Off a pass from his brother Dane. Out to Jarvie. And Jarvie with room to move dropped that. Nine minutes to go. 20 points to 7. Haddock, Rogers, Forrest, dummying, back inside to Malone, who's living off the backs. He's like a shearer's dog, trailing everybody that goes through. Greg Malone, back to Rogers, then to Haddock. Lamming, Dane Sorensen, Forrest, Kurt Sorensen, out to Jarvie, back inside to Greg Malone, and they're playing a brand of football that is just magnificent to watch now, Cronulla. Oh, it's a try. Lamming in for the try. The hooker who's done absolutely nothing wrong today. There, oh well, let's see that again from head on. Bit hard to see that as we watch. Does he get the ball down without bouncing it? Goes through the tackle of Stephen Edge. Well, the referee was better positioned than I, and he says he didn't bounce it. So that's a try as far as they're concerned.
Greg Pearce down on the sideline again, speaking to a local junior, Cliff Lyons, his first year in grade, and maybe he's going to get a chance for his first grade debut.
Number 6 attempt coming up for Steve Rogers. He's been successful with 4. Number 7.5 minutes to go. Rogers' kick is just away. So the score remains Cronulla 23, Parramatta 7. Paddock takes the kick-off. Parramatta trying something different. Lamming has done a marvellous job in the set scrums against Stephen Edge. He's come up with a 12-9 advantage. The penalties have gone Cronulla's way, 10-8. The two Malanes have been in everything that's going. Paddock has had a top game. Kurt Sorensen. Cronulla looking to improve on that. Back to Lamming, always looking to get the ball away. Sorensen after his brother Kurt. Little Glover. Got up and threw a punch. And instructed the touch judge in his duties there. Price pulls that out of the air. Little kick through attempt. That'll be a penalty against Lamming. Lifting his foot before the ball had touched the ground.
The official attendance at the Grasslands match is 13,105.
Crowd amended, 13,105 here at the Endeavour Field. A good crowd for an Easter Sunday with so many people away. 5 minutes to go. Clock stopped. Little chip over the top. Kenny runs onto it. No, he doesn't. Cronin does. Oh, and a top tackle. Little Haddock picked him off with a round-the-legs tackle. But I think even Mick Cronin would have appreciated. All offside, Cronulla. Inside the 5. Tony Melrose. Right footer for touch. Sterling, Price, back to Sterling. About 5 metres away from Cronulla's line. Stevens, Price, swivels through one. Edge, attempting to go from dummy half. Sterling, back into McDonald. Big replacement. Penalty against Cronulla. Falling on the ball in the ruck. The ball hadn't cleared the dummy half.
Take this opportunity to issue a police instruction at the completion of this game. No persons are allowed.
3 minutes 15 seconds unofficial time. Sterling. Cronin loses the ball. It'll be knocked on and it'll be kicked dead. The line drop out to restart. Rogers. Drop kick up towards halfway, taken by Melrose. Up to the quarter line, good run. Final error count that we'll give you. Parramatta 11, Cronulla 8. Number of times each side's given the ball back to the opposition. Sterling. Neville Glover through one tackle. Scorer of one of the Parramatta tries. Sterling got it away there to number 14 for the Parramatta side, John Colk. And the little replacement halfback is in for a try, fairly adjacent to the posts. Little, but much too late. See it again. Came fast, Sterling made the initial break, caught by one leg and unloaded nicely. From head on. There's Sterling straightening. Gets inside Mullane's tackle. Just as he was falling, got the ball away to Colt. Mick Cronin having his third attempted goal.
Rex, I've got Greg Pearce here with me on the sideline. Greg, your forwards played very, very well today.
Yeah, they took the yardage that Parramatta let them have, and I enjoyed their game today, yeah.
What about the hooker, young Laming?
Oh, he had a fine game. He won the scrums well against a very good pack of forwards, so I was pleased with his effort. And he's also adventurous in the open, as you've seen. He's kicked for touch a couple of times and got good yards.
Very delighted Greg Pearce. Rogers restarts. Just goes the required distance. Knocked back. Cronulla have it. Paul Kahn. Sorensen right through the middle. Kurt Sorensen looks for support. Got it to Haddock. Now Cronulla on the boil for another try before the end of this game. Now out it comes to Rickett. Then out to Forrest, well positioned. Mullane. The pass has gone astray. Still with Cronulla. Forrest has it. He's got it back to Mullane. A little bit of shepherding there. Perhaps the referee says play on. 6 to go. Touch the Parramatta player. Time just about up. Unofficial time by our clock is... There it is. So the situation is that the score has run out very much in favour of the Cronulla side. 23 points to 12. The try scorers for Cronulla have been Mick Mullane, John Byrne, Rick Burke, Kurt Sorensen, Dave Laming. That's 5 tries, and the goals have gone to Steve Rogers, 5 of those. For the Parramatta side, 2 tries, 1 to Neville Glover, 1 to John Colt, and 3 goals from 3 attempts to Mick Cronin. Our award winner in today's game was the Cronulla hooker, David Laming, who outpointed in the set scrums his more illustrious opponent, Stephen Edge. They're both second rowers. Stephen's running cross field. It's a pass away, but it's a bad one. Picked up by McKenzie. Still, I would kick. All right, Parramatta. Collins on the halfway line. Ray Price calling for the ball. It's a good weaving run. Coburn. Cronin did well to pick that up. Got it back beautifully on the inside to Hilditch, who was knocked hard. Stumpy Stevens. Pass away to Sterling. And that's the 6. Now we've got 9.5 minutes to go.
Collins on the wing for Parramatta.
Scoreline 10-7. West favour. West come up with another scrum win, which makes it 12-10. They away in the set scrums. The penalties have gone 9-6 in favour of Parramatta. And there's a penalty to Western Suburbs. Rebo. Very gloomy here at Lidcombe now. The light bad, overcast and quite chilly. Just towards halfway now. Western Suburbs running from left to right. Jeffries. Neil. Not been able to get himself into the clear to have any of those electrifying runs of his. Bevan. Hopping on one leg. Tackled right on the halfway line. Last tackle. Lamb. Both sides look just a little bit indecisive at the moment.
Newtown 25, South Sydney 14, St George 17, Balmain 14, Penrith 25, Canterbury 18, Manly 20, Cronulla 10, Eastern Suburbs 18, North Sydney 17.
Scrum into Parramatta, and it'll be a penalty to Western Suburbs. Incorrect feed against Sterling. Desperation moments now for Parramatta with 6 minutes to go. Referee talking to Stephen Edge and Sterling. There's Johnny Cock, World Cup halfback of a few years ago.
After the game, and parents, would you please help in this regard?
Rebo's kick is useful. This is the largest 13,000 crowd I've seen for a long while. It's on the quarter line now. Western Suburbs on the attack. Coming up towards that last 5 minutes when the clock stopped. Neil, little dummy and through, and it's going to be a try. It's the rebound. And that's the ball game. One run he's had, one run, and he slipped himself through a little tiny gap, acceleration, and made it beautiful. Just beautiful stuff. A little dummy, the straighten, the beating of the initial tackle, and the perfectly timed pass to Big Rebo, who goes in for his third try for the weekend. Now from head on, watch Neil's acceleration through the gap. A little dummy, beat Coburn for pace. That perfectly timed pass, Atkins was never going to catch him from that point, but he did chase to his credit. So 7 tries to Rebo, 8 including the one that he scored yesterday. That's 13 points to 7 in under 5 minutes to go. Short of the quarter line and 18 metres in from the sideline, kicking across the breeze. Just allowed a bit too much for the breeze, and the score remains as it was. Western Suburbs 13, Parramatta 7. Perhaps 4 minutes to go by our time. Eli knocks it backwards. Village is in there too. Pound him to the ground. Certainly not a lot of flair in Parramatta today. Wests have laid on 2 tries of great quality. Crowd starting to wend their way with 3.5 minutes to go. See that batter his way through the meat of the Parramatta forwards there, Neil. Oh, there's a way to stop him. Totally legitimate tackle. Stevens is the man that went right in hard. Trying Thunder's pass in the background as the 2 packs come together. That'll be a penalty to Parramatta. Feed across. Well, they've really got an impossible job now. They've got to score twice. That, I think, is beyond them, and if they haven't done it in the previous 77 minutes, there's no reason to suppose they'll do it twice in the last 3. A funny game, rugby league. Collins. Village. Close to being through. It's about 7 metres away now. Sheer effort, he's had a top game. Price. Price, and he's been told also to keep his mouth shut. indicated by the referee, touching his lips. Rebo. Try in each half. Got a minute and a half to go, unofficial time. There's Merlot running into a wall of defenders just inside his quarter. Must have grafted out this win pretty well. Cuba, a strong, hard force. Barry Ross.
Yes, he's fast coming back to his best. He started the season rather slowly, but played well in the last couple of weeks and had an excellent game today.
Tom Arbour pulled over the sideline there. And the Lidcombe jinx still rests heavy on the head of the Parramatta club in first grade. Haven't beaten them since 1971. Sterling. Scott was the man he worked the runaround move with. Price. There's Scott now to the quarter line. About 30 seconds to go, unofficial time. He passed out to Taylor, and he drops the ball as he tries to dummy kick. He was going to do a little kick there, and with about 14 seconds to go, it's Western Suburbs all the way. They've done it so easily. Merlot back to Sherbert. Takes the tackle. This could be the last play the ball of the match if our clock's correct. And there it is in the background. So Western Suburbs, a convincing tradesman-like display against Parramatta as the flags wave and the coloured papers thrown in the air. 13 points to 7. The try scorers for Western Suburbs have been 2 to John Rebo, 1 to Terry Lamb, and 2 goals to Ross Conlon. For the Parramatta side, there were 2 penalty goals to Michael Cronin and a try to Stephen Ed. Our award winner in today's game was Bob Cooper, the giant Western Suburbs second rower, who was responsible for 1 try with a good break and did a power of damage with his strong, bold runs up the blind side, and I think was instrumental in the forwards, Western Suburbs forwards, getting over the top of Parramatta as they did, and the result of the game shows that. Let's have a look at the full round of football this weekend. 28 points Penrith, and that's a great win for them against Canterbury, 18, last year's premiers. Newtown, the most impressive display, 30, have defeated South Sydney, 14. St George, 17, got away with Balmain, 14. I'm told that was a very exciting game of football. Manly, 20, defeated Cronulla, 15. Eastern Suburbs, 18, listen to this, North will always find a way to do it, 17, and they led for most of the game. And in our game, Parramatta 7 went down to Western Suburbs 13. Now the competition table looks this way. Eastern Suburbs sole leaders at the moment on 12. Then comes Newtown in their very eminent position in 1981. They're in second place with 11. Then comes Parramatta and Cronulla on 10. Western Suburbs on 9. 3 teams on 8. Penrith, St George and Manly. North Sydney and Canterbury on 6. Balmain and South Sydney on 4. So a very interesting round of rugby league next week. It's going to take a bit of pondering over the weekend, but I'll come up with the answer of the game we'll televise in Sevens Big League on tomorrow night's news. This is Rex Mossop from Lidcombe Oval. And Parramatta the last week, and he saw a game of football of what dimension, Harry?
Pretty good. Despite the scores of 18 points to 4, it was a game that meant so much to both sides, because remember that both sides, both Canterbury and Parramatta, were on the losing end. Parramatta lost their last 3 matches, so they were striving to win, and we know that Canterbury Bankstown had been in the doldrums, a loss of players and all that sort of business. But we saw eventually a good game of football, and Parramatta, easily the better side in the day, scoring the 3 tries to Canterbury far across the line. And I think the game was Parramatta back to their best defensive effort in the which they'd started off this season with. So I bet that Jack Gibson would be very, very pleased to see it. In the game, we saw 3 tries, I say, being scored by the Parramatta side, and indeed they were all scored by the backs, but the game really was played in the forwards. We didn't see a great deal of the open style of football, but when we did see the open style of football, it was quite surprising that at Canterbury Bankstown, the 1980 vintage style of football that brought in the competition last year, we saw flashes of that brilliance in the game, but we didn't see enough of it, and indeed they couldn't break that strong Parramatta defence to put any tries over the line. But one thing did disturb me in the game. There were a lot of deliberate penalties, I thought, coming into not only this game, but in all games of football. And I think they've got to take some serious action referees to do something about it. We've got a sin bin. I think it should be used 5 or 10 minutes to open up their game, stopping tries when they could stop, and I think that stops the excitement.
goes in, the captain or the offender?
Well, I must confess that last week referee Dennis Braybrook did bring across the captain of Parramatta, Stephen Edge, and spoke to him honestly to tell him, obviously to me from outside the fence, that if you consider it, well, we're going to do something about it in the future. But unfortunately, it didn't happen in the future. Here's a try. This is a good
This is a bit of football, I think, that leads up to that penalty situation.
Well, now here's a player being tackled in the corner now. Now Dennis Braybrook moves in, trying to get the players away so they can get on with the game. Yeah. Look, they're all they want to give the penalty away. Now Swift's across, right. It goes right across to the other side of the field, and you'll see the Canterbury player tackled in the corner, not allowed to get up again. There you fly down the corner. You get tackled here, and you'll find him held down again, and referee Dennis Braybrook moves in now, stops the play. Look, they're all having... He finally awards a penalty kick. He looks behind. This is the occasion when he pulled over Stephen Edge and spoke to the captain. He's going to do something about it. But in the second half, again, I thought that Parramatta, they held the ball there for about 24 tackles, and I didn't think there was any chance of Canterbury scoring a try at that stage because they were giving penalties away. And I would have think that's only something for the future, that some referee's got to take it into his hand to do something about it. And the sooner he does, I think we'll get better football.
Right, here's Eric Groth juggling the ball.
Yes, this was a good pass from young Kenny around the front. He juggles the ball here, takes it in. He finally grabbed it all right and put it down for a splendid try as a juggler.
They got a history of blokes up there. What about Glover? Like, we called him the juggler, didn't we, after that try that he scored, getting the ball between his legs and so... Well, we won't go into that.
That's how coaches go great.
Now here's the mousetrap.
And this is mousetrap. There's a bit of grid on. 6'4", 28'31".
Yes.
Dillage between the legs.
Yeah, mousetrap.
That's right.
And Bretnell, as we see all the year, taking bombs beautifully under pressure.
Had a good game too, Bretnell, in this game. Obviously must have influenced the selectors because he won the battle over Dowling. But also for Canterbury, I thought that Graham Hughes had a great game in a defeated side, and Steve Mortimer came out of it pretty well.
He's been very unlucky not to get a representative. He's prime centre or utility back, I think we better call him these days. Brett Kenny from the Parramatta Club. Congratulations, Brett.
Thanks, Rex.
A great display, marred by only one error.
Yeah.
Remember it? What was the one?
When I made the break, I now 25. And Eric Groth was on the inside.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what went through your mind. You're such a mature player that you had him there, and I thought he was going to score under the post if you gave him the ball.
Well, at the time I had a look and I saw Eric, and then when I've looked again, I saw a blue jumper there, and I thought, you know, the pass mightn't be on, so I thought I'll have to go myself.
Yeah, fair enough. It's easy sitting in the stand watching it, isn't it, and being critical, but there's your opening try coming up, if you like to watch the monitor there. What's your background, Brett? Where did you come from?
I played with Guildford Leagues Club. I started there in the under-7s.
Under-7s, just went right through the grades, did you? And always been a back, a centre?
Yeah. I played 5'8" in the under-8s, that was it.
And what's the story with this? What did Jack Gibbo say to you to get you back into the 5'8" role? I mean, what reason did he give for it?
Well, he didn't actually say why. One night there training, when he picked the side, he just read my name out as 5'8".
And that was the end of the section?
That was the end of it, yeah.
Oh, well. He's a strong man and he makes the decisions, and you players have just got to go along with it. Now, how do you feel about playing 5'8"?
Well, I like playing 5'8". You're in all the action, you know,
sure
in the centre of everything.
Well, you'd be, well, you're one of the form 5'8"s in Sydney going around at the moment. You know, the New South Wales 5'8", and Rocky Laurie's fallen by the wayside. And we've got the last Kangaroo Tour, Alan Thompson, fallen by the wayside. Filipina was one of the form ones, but he's been put back in the centre this week. Patterson, the South Sydney 5'8", I suppose, would be the one that would be mostly getting the raps at the moment.
Yeah.
And Brett Kenny. How many tries have you scored this year?
9.
Oh, well, that's a pretty good tally. Brett, we'll get the nice part of the business out of the way. There's your $400. And my congratulations on your form. I like the way you play. Not that it's terribly important whether I like it or not, but you're a thoughtful player. And I hope you continue with that business of always moving the ball and keeping it alive, because that's what rugby league's all about.
Thanks, Rex.
Now, the try that we judged to be the best try in this match was the one scored by Graham Atkins, and the man most responsible was Eric Groth. Have a look.
Still in his defence, he doesn't give too many passes like that. He's one of Cronulla's main ball distributors.
There's Groth. I think you might be able to put the glasses down for a try under the post by Mick Cronin. Oh, he's going to be very unselfish and give it away there to Graham Atkins, so that's a top try. So there it was, a top try indeed. So Brett Kenny, the man of the match in that one, Parramatta against Cronulla. And, of course, in the Parramatta, Cronulla game, the man most responsible for the try was Eric Groth, the man who scored the try, Graham Atkins. $150 to Eric Groth, and we'll see that he gets that cheque there, or you can give that to him, will you?
Yes, sir.
Now make sure it's crossed and it's made out to him.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, unfortunately, we were to have this man on the program today. I'm referring to, this is the second replay, which we could have done without. Let's go on to the next bit of action. Our last week's telecast. His opponent today, the hooker from the very successful Penrith club, 2 wins on the trot, and Jamie Jones, the man I'm referring to, one of the good goers around the forward section around Sydney. He's under the scrutiny of his coach today, who's in the studio, Lenny Stacker. Take your place up there, lads. Both of you, up there. Brett Kenny, you're going to go first because you're considerably older. Is that right? No, I don't think it's a battle of the babies, this one. From right to left, 4 passes. Right, here we go. And a 5. I wouldn't like to play outside that pass. That's a bit better. 7. And a 5. And a 7. Around the world for sixpence, 24. That right, Annie?
Yes.
Oh! Wait a minute, you made me drop the football. I thought, I'll tell the viewers, I thought I had Annie, my secretary, doing it, and out came a baritone voice. Cole Pearce is there. Righto, on you go, Jamie. Oh, how sweet it is. 10. And a 7. Another 7 landed on its point. And another 7. 21, 31. I suggest that Brett Kenny's got a fair bit of work to do in the second round. Like, would you believe 3 10s? Oh, there's one of them. 10. And a 7. And another 7. And another 7. 21, 31 is a grand total of 55. Shouldn't be good enough to win, but you never know. Let's see how Jamie goes. 7. Another 7. He's got the range, I think. Oh, 5 on the line. Let's see for the last one. Back on target again. 21, 26 is 57. Right. So yeah, that was just good enough. Come and join me up here, fellas, will you? Always like to see a forward beat a back at this. I don't know whether it's the old, being an old front row, second row forward. It's always nice to see a centre get beaten by a hooker or a prop or something. Anyway, you've had a good week, haven't you? Yeah. And good luck today in your match. Confident?
Yeah, we should bet them today. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. You've already done your business, so you've got your award for last week. You got $30, and that's the end of you for the passing competition. Right. Good luck to you, Brett Kenny. Well, that was a good performance. That's a good weekend so far, isn't it? Yeah, it's great. Winning money yesterday?
Yeah, it's good.
You really rolled. That's enjoyed. So I was in Queensland, so I didn't see it, but very convincing display.
Yeah, good win.
Well, that's good. Well, keep up the form. Well, Lenny Stacker's smiling at last, is he?
Yeah.
All right, you go over the $50 bank account, and you've got the opportunity to continue on. $1,000 for first prize, $400 for second, $250 for third. I'm sure you'll be back. Okay. All right, let's take a break now. Showed Parramatta at its very, very best, I thought. Their attacking skill in the first half was superb. Steve Hansard doesn't get any marks from me for putting the referee in a position of having to do something about him and send him to the sin bin. At the time, I think the score was 10-5 in Parramatta's favour. It ended up 20-5 or 15-5.
No, it was 5-2 at that stage.
5-2, was it?
5-2,
yeah.
6 minutes before half-time, and the 6 minutes he's off the field, they scored 10 points.
That's
to beat
correct.
15-2.
And that doesn't get any accolade from me as far as the halfback's concerned. I believe the referee, Mr. Gosha, was under enormous pressure there because Hansard had virtually flagrantly ignored the way to put the ball into the scrum on 5 occasions.
Well, he had previously spoken to him too and brought him out about it, and I wonder whether the captain should have changed him at that stage and took the pressure off Hansard and let somebody else feed the scrum at that particular stage while the pressure at that stage of the game, just to take the pressure off him for some considerable time.
I just tell him to put it in straight.
Yes, well, but the pressure was on him, on Hansard, in a little bit, so it might have been better for a couple of scrums, as I said, to take the heat off at that stage.
Do you think that players might be exploiting the sin bin a bit, Cos?
Oh, well, I've never been in favour of the sin bin at this stage of the game. We got a irregular one last week and had to occur. We got a half Hansard Steve being sent off for 10 minutes at a game at Redfern. We got a player sent off for 5 minutes for the referee. The sin bin.
Suddenly the
exactly
sin bin came back to use last week, didn't it? We had 6 players sent to the sin bin.
Yeah,
and which obviously means that the players are taking the odds a bit. Would you say they take the odds to the sin bin?
Yeah, I suppose.
No, I suppose they did a while, but I don't like a player off the field.
Oh, sure.
No.
Would you rather have him off for 10 minutes or the full match? I mean, I'm not trying facetious there.
Yeah, well,
Can we allow
it's a
players
good
to
idea.
persistently infringe?
They can't. I think it's a good idea.
Well, what they used to do in our day, Len, and your day, was to a referee would talk to the captain. He had no right to order a player not to be in a certain position. He would talk to the captain and say, if this player is kept in that position and continues to infringe, I will send him from the field. And then the captain had the onus to leave him there if he wanted to punt or change positions. I believe it's being abused, the sin bin. I'd like to see it scrapped. I really would. I think it's a disaster.
Either that or send them off for longer. Say give them a quarter of an hour in the sin bin, but now we've got the bit where one fella gets sent off for the same act as the other one. One gets 10 minutes and the other gets 5.
Well, that was bound to happen before it started. I said in the show here that was bound to happen because you've got different interpretations by different referees and different grounds, but there should be a set standard. One's off for 10 and one's off for 5. That comes rebounds back on the referee then.
Yeah, well.
Now, Big Bob O'Reilly in action in this game. He's watch this. This is the bear. I thought that was a good bit. As good a performance in attack as you'd ever hope to see. Magic ball qualities. The little pass behind his back there, yes. I don't know whether that was too quick for a lot of people. I just put that in because I'm a real fan of the Bears these days. I think he's
really
a top player. As good a tackle as you could ever hope to see by Gardner on Cronin. I'd love to see these sort of things reported more than some of the garbage that's reported. Look at that tackle.
It looked like an obvious
That was worth a line in the paper, wasn't it, that tackle?
Yeah,
Lenny, wouldn't you think?
Beautiful.
Wasn't that worth a line in the paper? Any paper?
I agree.
Any paper? Yeah, right. Good on you, mate. Kenny's break after for last year.
Oh, yes.
The tap penalty, and he just bursts through. He's an exciting tackling player.
He's strong, isn't he?
Good player.
Yeah, he's a good
Had a great game last week, and this was a try that should have been.
That's right. He's already explained that. He said he saw a blue jumper and he thought the pass wasn't on.
Yeah, well, it was
so
on.
there it was.
Yeah.
All right, we've come to the end of the first half, lads. We'll be back in just a moment.
Now, our panel sits here in judgment and we name the Player of the Year. And the Player of the Year wins the tickets for 2 to fly Continental Airlines to the west coast of America. And that is a great prize for our World of Sport Rugby League Player of the Year. So for the nomination for a great game for Parramatta against Cronulla last weekend, Brett Kenny, the sensational centre three-quarter for Parramatta, is now talking to Ian Maurice.
Brett, does it surprise you to know that a lot of the top centres in Sydney are talking about you in glowing terms?
Yeah, it does. I didn't think I was playing brilliant football, just normal play the way I've been playing in the centres.
Well, believe me, they are all talking about you. Last week against Cronulla, the side rattled away to a big lead in the first half, but it sort of died on its run in the second half.
Yeah, well, over the past few weeks we've been giving the other side starts and playing better in the second half. And last week we got our act together and played well in the first half, but we did die a bit later on. We just got to improve a bit there.
Yeah, well, that was your first try. Playing at 5'8", and Jack has been switching you from 5'8" to centre. Which do you prefer?
Oh, I'd rather play centre.
Would you?
Yeah.
Just gives you that little extra room to move, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But so you seem to be working okay at 5'8".
Well, yeah, I've played 5'8" before when I was about 8. And, you know,
You're 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'd be my second position, 5'8". You know, you're a lot closer to the player, involved a lot more, so it doesn't really worry me.
You've got a lot of speed off the mark. Is that something you've worked at?
No, not really. I don't really train at sprints or anything, so it's just natural.
You've got a good combination with Ella. Have you played much football with him?
No, not really. No, this is the first year I've ever played football with Steve Ella.
Well, Bob O'Reilly seems to be making a big difference to that Parramatta side. With him in the pack, it looks a lot stronger.
Yeah, well, you know, Bob's got the experience behind him, and being such a big man, he takes a lot of players to pull him down. He's dragging in 2 or 3, and often he's been able to unload the ball. Well, we've got quite a few running forwards that run off him, and it sets up the rest of the play for us.
Good steadying influence on the side too. Who's the centre you admire most?
Mick Cronin.
Good luck. Congratulations on the award.
Thanks a lot, Aaron.
Dream of making the semi-finals in 1981 will either be shattered this afternoon or could be even closer to becoming a reality. Back on Sunday the 26th of April, the Grizzlies showed they were going to be a real threat when they beat Parramatta at Cumberland 15 points to 13. John Gray was in trouble. He incurred 4 successive scrum penalties and showed what he thought of the referee's decision. And he's back in the paddock again today for North Sydney. Parramatta raced to a 5-2 lead in this particular match, and Kenny, the boy we spoke to a little while ago, handled twice in the movement for Ray Price to go over and score. That took Parramatta to a 5-2 lead and looking good. They increased that lead to 10-2 when Mick Cronin was able to race over for a very, very easy try, and it looked a matter of by how far Parramatta would beat North Sydney. But the Bears came back, and that fellow there, Paul McCaffrey, put up a bomb which resulted in a try, and North Sydney were on the way back. And McCaffrey again involved himself in the next try, and McCaffrey's playing today, incidentally, and he is the danger man for Parramatta. Look at this try. Great bit of work by McCaffrey. And this put North Sydney right back on the path to a victory. Sure, they've changed their three-quarters lines considerably since this time, but McCaffrey is the key to all this, and he's in the team today. Parramatta will certainly miss Ron Hilditch, there's no question of that. I can't understand why Stumpy Stevens would come into the pack, but Jack knows better than I, and I'm going for Parramatta to win. I thought they were very impressive. I agree with you, Case. I thought they were very impressive last week against Cronulla, and North Sydney, I don't think they'll be able to hold Parramatta. I'm going for the Eels to win. Their back line at the moment, I think, would be giving a lot of teams or coaches a lot of thought, because there's an enormous amount of pace in it. You'll see the way they run, you'll see the way they back up in this coverage. Ferris, you had a look at the tape beforehand. What did you think?
Well, it was a very, very exciting game from the Parramatta fans there. I understand that Penrith did everything that they could to put them out of their attacking medium by some very, very solid defence, but even though Penrith sustained it for most of the game, this tremendous defensive effort, Parramatta still were able to run in 3 tries. It was the day of the Steves. Steve Edge, Steve Eller and Steve McKenzie all had top games, and Peter Sterling got the big raps again for his work, and he looks like being the form half for next year if he maintains this form. I'm told that Roy Simmons had an excellent game. And, of course, Mark Levy plays well. But Parramatta right now are shaping as a team that have got a lot going for it, and looks like they could be there in the grand final.
Well, now they're
doing everything right at the right time.
There's a lot spoken about the Parramatta three-quarter line at the moment, and the steadying influence, of course, is Mick Cronin in there. He's got youngsters inside and outside him. He's the man that really, I think, is in the main responsible for the way the team's going. It's been a great performance by Kenny. At 5'8", he's made the transition to that position, and he's proved a marvellous attacking player. Ella must be one of the freaks. He had a frightful knee injury, an absolutely frightful knee injury, that young lad, and he's come back very well and playing exciting football. And you can see that lovely quick hands from Cronin, constantly unloading the ball to men in better positions. It makes it look easy. But this is
such
very
an unselfish player, which that's what.
Oh yes, he's a great player. There's no little doubt that Cronin is one of the great players. Little doubt about that. I've always said he'd make a very good footballer, a very good forward too, if he ever decides to retire from. It's magic stuff to watch, isn't it?
Oh yes. They've got the combination there, of course, and Stevens and Riley paying off for in the forwards there. They're playing excellent forward football, and the only thing that could be worrying probably Parramatta would be they're not getting as much ball as they perhaps would expect to get.
You know, they're well drilled, aren't they? Like, there's no risk about them. They're well drilled side.
They are a well drilled side and a well coached side. We can't take that away from Gibbo. He's got his team well drilled, well coached. The players are all responding to a certain pattern.
Scoring plenty of tries.
They are scoring
plenty of tries.
It's good stuff. I read a funny little thing, Noel, that sort of brought back memories of you and your halcyon days. There's a bloke with the name of Tony Thompson, alias Noel Kelly. I'm sure he must be related to you, from Kiama. He's the captain coach down there. He had 10 minutes in the sin bin in his last match for knocking out one of his own players accidentally. Did that ever happen to you, honestly? Now, be honest.
Yeah, I let one go one day, and I heard Callow said, "Thanks, Butcher." And I looked round, and he had to go and get about 4 or 5 stitches in his eyebrow, you know.
Charming.
Got the wrong one.
Well, we've already spoken about Parramatta in a good way about their football, but also there's a very forward step in their Parramatta club. They're to become the first rugby league club in Sydney to allow women members, and not in as members, not just as associates. This is under their new constitution because they're now a corporate body. This would mean ultimately the women could stand for official positions in the club, and under the anti-discrimination laws is probably going to get there. So we may well have women standing on football committees and so forth. That's a possibility these days. Okay, one thing I'd like to point out from this one was Ella scoring a try from a tap penalty in this game. He's as full of moves as Jack Gibson.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not a hand.
A variation on... well, how many variations are there actually on that sort of...
Well, you don't
move?
see a lot of them come off, do you?
There'd be about 7
well,
or 8
I've never
different.
seen as many tries scored in set plays as what there is in
Just
that
now.
particular game. They scored, what, 50% of their tries from set plays, which is a credit to the catch.
All right, well, let's go on now with our tackle of the week.
Probably. See, if you're losing, everyone will give you the reason Monday morning. There's an old saying, you know, they're Monday morning coaches. They're always there, but you need them. Criticism, it keeps you awake.
Have you ever been influenced by the press in the selection of your side?
Yes, very much so. Because I've taken a law of averages. I've never found them right that much, and I usually go the other way.
Jack West have had the wood on Parramatta the last few years. They've only won that first round match in 1976. Since then, it's all been West way. So that must be a plus for West, isn't it?
Well, the only game I cared about was the first one this season.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, they're one up. But I've been reading for the last 3 or 4 years now. Our Wests have fallen in a heap. You know, it's come out every time they put a loss together. The whole cubby house seems to have caved in, but that hasn't happened in the past. And I don't expect it to happen on Sunday either.
Have you had to G your fellows up for this one?
Well, I haven't imported Barassi or Don Lane up here, but see, you can't get ready in a... getting ready takes a long way away. You know, you can't get ready on Saturday if you haven't... it starts a long time before game day, getting ready, and we think they're ready.
A man who was starting to play, in my view, some of the best football of his career, been around a hell of a long while. I suggest that Bob O'Reilly is fitter at this stage of his career than he's ever been, and his ball skills are shining like a beacon. Now, is that a fair rap or not?
Oh, I'd say I'm as fit as I've ever been, yes, Rex, for sure. As far as my ball skills, I think I've always had some ability in that direction. Probably this year we've had a lot more young guys taking more advantage of them, I'd say, than in previous years. I think, Noel, you'd know, like, you know, if you throw a good pass and you end up seeing your winger score and it started inside, you'd get a bit of a kick out of it. So
Sure do.
I think it's
Tremendous rap. It's good for the contract next year.
He's going to go and get a pub up in Brisbane, isn't he? Isn't that the rumor?
Yeah, they're listening up there.
Are you going to be playing? Are you playing in Sydney next year or not?
Well, at the moment, Rex, I've left all my options open. There's still a long way to go in the season, and
He's eastern suburbs today.
yes, yeah, and you know, I'd rather leave it till the end of the season before I really make up my mind what I want to do. So I'll just wait and see.
All right.
What's brought your keenness back, Bob? Like, once upon a time you were going to give the game away about 3 or 4 years ago, and you came back. What forced you
I
back?
went to Eastern Arthur. I went to Eastern Suburbs and was under Beats from 78 and 79, and I thought that was really the start of me thinking about the game again, and I got myself keen and fit. And I had a couple of good seasons, I thought, with Eastern Suburbs, but I suppose the urge to go back to Parramatta was always there, and I really wanted to finish with Parramatta. And last year I suffered a pretty bad injury, and I thought I had a fair enough innings in rugby league, and I was going to give it away. And it was only through Poppy Jack coming to the club and having a rather serious talk to me that I decided to try again and see how I would go. And I've managed to get this far,
Yes,
so I only
great.
need another 6 games, and I've made the season out again.
Well, in the latter part of your career, you know, we've all been through it, and I always thought that from about 25, 26, 27, around about that age, up until you retire, that you become case hardened, you can shortcut the game better. Do you agree with me on that? Do you think you're a better player at this stage than you were when you were a young fella?
Well, obviously it's harder. I'm probably playing to my capacity, maximum capacity nearly every week. I can probably lift myself, I hope, for the big games ahead.
Yeah.
But the drive and the determination you need to, I've got to have it really every week to stay competitive with the rest of them.
You don't feel like it's hard work, you know, because you're shortcutting the game a lot better these days than you probably used to.
I know I can read a game a lot better than the younger
You know
blokes, so
exactly where
I
those
can-
shortcuts are.
I'd say so, yeah.
That's experience.
So what about the 35 tackles a game you're going to do?
I might get 35 up today.
You certainly showed a lot of ball skill in this game. Of the 4 tries that were scored by your team against Balmain, and I'd like your opinion on the game and how Balmain went. You were involved in 3 of the tries. What about the game? Won by your side 16-7.
Well, we went out there knowing that we'd cop a real hard game out there. This fella here had a tremendous game, I thought. Caused us a lot of trouble with his bumping runs, and at half-time there, I think we were pretty happy to come off at 5-all. I think Balmain had quite a few scoring opportunities, but in the second half, I think the effort they put in the first half started to tell on them, and we started doing a lot more running with the ball, and the longer the game went, the more openings
Bob,
came.
with Peter Sterling, I've got the greatest rap in the world on him. You know, it must be really good to be the ball carrier and know that there's a Peter Sterling around in the team somewhere, because he always seems to lob up just beside you, doesn't he, at the right time?
He's just a brilliant little player. You know, I always had big raps on him, but I think this year he's just proved that he's, you know, in the top echelon of rugby league.
Next year under his belt sort of thing, isn't it?
But the success of Stumpy Stevens, Bob, has been a big thing for Parramatta, because Stumpy's always been such a wholehearted player, and it was thought that he had a premature retirement because of his bad knee injury, but he's certainly produced the experience that's necessary. And when you look at the experience in the Parramatta pack, there's years and years of experience there.
In the years that you played, Bob, in the years that you played for...
years is getting a lot of work, isn't it?
Bob, in the years that you played for Parramatta, is this the best back line that you've ever been associated with within the club, or not?
Oh, well, I've said it before, Cole. I haven't seen a back line with the years. I think 4 of them are only 20 years old, and they have the experience or the maturity that they've got now, and the overall speed, you know, I think there's what Parramatta's proved mostly through this year, that we can score tries from any part of the ground, and we have scored a lot of tries from inside our own 25, you know.
Bob, have you seen a better wing prospect than Eric Grove?
No, he's just sensational, isn't he? Like, you know, he just lights the whole ground up when he gets the ball, and I think Jack, early in the season there, we had a time trial over 40 metres. I won't say what I ran it in, but
about the same as I would.
But Eric in full football gear.
Surely they gave you a little start, man.
Eric in full football gear around a 4.2.
The beauty of having such a fast back line, they don't expect you to be there.
Right, well, mate, you were talking about Filipina causing some trouble. Now, this is a typical run of his in the game. He's been through 2 tackles, and he's not finished yet. There he goes through number 3.
Gee, strong, isn't he?
Enormously powerful man. He's not finished yet. And that he's still not finished. Wait for it. He's not careful, not too worried about where he stands either. Just between you and I, that's an old Ned Kelly trick, that one. Go down with a perfectly good leg and get up after he's tackled you with.
It's pretty.
Also, anything going. But that was good, and just one of the little irritations in a game of football that I know worry coaches in front of the kicker.
Yep.
And, you know, they're the things we're seeing too much of in rugby league, in my view, and they happen to all teams. It's not just the one side. All right, well, you're suggesting then that this Parramatta side are as good a side as you've ever seen, that you've been associated with. Certainly the fastest backs you've ever had.
Yeah, I'd say they're magnificent back line, and we're hoping to give them plenty of ball today to do their job.
All right, well, let's go at this stage to the corrugated paper tackle of the week. Phil Schaefer in the Balmain Parramatta game came up with the tackle of the week, and of course corrugated paper of 165 Allen Street, Leichhardt, the packaging people, can help you solve your packaging problems. It doesn't matter what the problem, big or small, or call to 569 4755. We'll get you and your business on the right track as far as packaging is concerned. Now, corrugated paper are right behind Rugby League with their tackle of the week competition, and each week the winner gets $100 from the corrugated people. At year's end, we'll judge the finalists and arrive at the corrugated tackle of the year, and that tackle will be $1,000 worth and a fortnight's free accommodation at the luxurious Golden Gate Apartments at Surfers Paradise. Now, let's have a look at this tackle by Phil Schaefer. Came at a very critical moment in the game. Midway through the first half, the score was 5-all. That is what you call a crunch tackle, a very good tackle. And Schaefer, curiously, is not considered a noted defender by the Balmain side, but you don't see too many head-on tackles.
Play of this match here last week, tremendous display last week of Eastern Service, superb attack and great defensive work, and yesterday, was it a letdown or...?
Yes, I think it was a bit of a letdown. We wanted to win yesterday's game, as you know, because it does give you a little bit of confidence in the semi-finals coming up. I think one major difference in the game against Parramatta and yesterday's game was we had a little bit of ball. And I think we get a ball against any other team, I think we'll go ahead and win the competition.
Well, it was a problem yesterday, but it wasn't a problem in that game. What we're looking at now in the screen with the Eastern Parramatta game was a good performance from Masterman the hooker. But yesterday, I think you were down 5-1 or 6-1 at one stage in the scrums yesterday, and that's causing you a few problems, and it will be a problem going into the finals.
Yes, I suppose it will, but I'm not taking anything against the West pack either, because they did have a rather big pack yesterday. I think they played with 3 front rowers.
And they played pretty well yesterday too, Roy.
Well, what's the story with Jeff Masterman? Has he lost confidence? He's been in the sin bin 4 times this year. He seems to get penalised a fair bit in the set scrums too. I think he was pinged 3 times yesterday for feet across. And he didn't come up with a scrum win yesterday, although he came up with a win against the smaller Parramatta pack the week before. Is this a real worry for the team?
It is a worry, yes, Rex, when we're not getting the ball consistently. I think Jeff's has had a few injuries in the past, and being his first year in Sydney, he's had a tremendous amount of football. As I think Bobby Fulton said on the show here a couple of weeks ago, he's played all the representative games. I think it does take the toll on the players, especially when they first come to Sydney in their first year.
Yes, because it's all happened for him this year. He's been up to the top and he's been dropped from first grade, hasn't he?
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, Noel, when you said that the West pack are big, and they took it right up the Eastern suburbs yesterday. And there is a natural letdown after a game. Like the Parramatta East game got a tremendous build-up. It was at the cricket ground, big crowd, a successful win, and it's very hard to keep your razor edge right up there for the next game. And this has been shown all through the year that there is a letdown after a big one.
I agree with that, Ferdy. Not only that, with talking about yesterday's game with Eastern Suburb, that was on right from that word go yesterday. Now, Roy Masters is very thick with the players out there. They wanted to turn on a good game. Now, they've erased all their bad, in my mind anyway, and the public. The Western Suburb supporters yesterday forgot all about the bad things they've done over the last couple of weeks, and they remember that good note that they finished on yesterday, which is a big thing. And while I'm at it, oh, there it is, Royce. Did you see that?
The dummy again.
That's the one who keeps playing it.
I know he put in an order for 100 gross videotape of that one incident.
But it was a great try too, a magnificent try, rugby league football.
Let me just come to again, I'm going to defend the hooker here. Look, this business about getting beaten for the ball and being sent to the sin bin, that can happen to any hooker at any given time, either side of the day. And how the hell the referees can pick one bloke out and pinch some of the scrums and then let the others go is beyond me.
Well, I mean, it might be beyond you, but the fact is it's happened to Masterman, the Australian hooker, 4 times this year.
Well, it's happening to a few others too, I can tell you. And in this instance,
nobody else has been sent off 4 times.
Oh, well, that was a while back, Rex, just to say.
Doesn't matter. He's the Australian hooker. Now, if I were the coach of the side or the captain, I'd be very concerned about it.
Because he's the Australian hooker?
Because he should be above reproach if he's going to be the Australian, or at least above being caught.
Well, let's get back to reality. I'm going to say he won the ball convincingly against Parramatta on the cricket ground, and Western Suburbs are not in the forthcoming games in the future, so I don't see any reason to be pessimistic about Easter's chances of getting the ball in the future.
You wouldn't. You're a dyed-in-the-wool Rooster fan.
No, I just
get
talking
off.
Facts.
Well,
get off.
Let's not cut Jack Jeffries out of the act either. He's a pretty useful hooker, you know.
Yeah, all right. No argument
With
about
a big
that.
pack.
Picked out this bomb that was put up. Caught Fay out definitely, you know, this was the second one that he couldn't get to, didn't actually touch it, but what a freakish leap there to get it two-handed in the end goal. Yeah. I mean, I think he ought to buy a lottery ticket after that one. He could have been made look very bad.
He's just a bloke that can do that just the same, isn't he? You know,
oh, yes, he's
come up with anything.
He's in marvellous form. Now, this tackle by Warnocky head-on on Mackenzie was as good a tackle as you'd see, too. The young bloke, Warnocky, stood his ground, and I think that was a top tackle, worthy of a replay. Bostad taking a bomb and then Hastings finding touch. Now, this sequence of play epitomised what Eastern Suburbs did on the day. Bostad, a beautiful bomb under all sorts of pressure. Look at that. That was a classic catch, as good as Brentnall's ever done. And now, it must be a great comfort when you've got Horry back there to do this. And the left footer for touch, torpedo punt, and it's 1 metre the other side of halfway.
Phenomenal game.
Now, that was an incredible performance. Gee whiz, I don't know.
Rex, you know, when you said before, Parramatta, with their size and that, I wouldn't write Parramatta's off just because of that. There's no risk in my mind. Eastern Suburbs had the bounce of the ball and a lot of luck last week, Royce, along with a good performance.
I agree, especially the semi-finals coming up. We all know there's not much difference between any of the top 5, and I think the team on the day that limits their mistakes and has a little bit or an ounce of luck, I think it was a team that
But
can
was
win
a little lack of variety in the Parramatta's play. Did you think there was a bit of...
I was surprised that their attack wasn't a lot better, yeah.
Well,
I think our defence was...
Here's a little bit of variety with
You
Bob
just hit it on
O'Reilly
the
doing
head.
the little one-handed flick behind him there, which was a nice one. They sometimes come off. I've seen several tries scored off that this year.
He wasn't as dominant in this game, Bob, as he was in the previous games. You had him probably
Yeah, we had
bottled
him bottled up, like you said, against Mick Crane, and where Bob O'Reilly can unload the ball pretty well too, so we had...
I saw him give you a little one-handed flick behind the ear too at once. Did he say anything to you, the bear?
Oh, we have a little running conversation all the time because we are pretty good, mate.
Here's a top tackle from Kenny.
Yes.
On McFarlane. That's as beautiful a diving tackle as you'd see.
Well, it must have been a good experience for you, Royce, and the eastern suburbs side to play in front of a big crowd on the cricket ground rather than the suburban oval.
Which is right, yeah, for us.
The atmosphere was there, wasn't it?
The atmosphere was there. And
the whole team lifted, everybody lifted. It was a great day. I mean, the fact that Parramatta were beaten so comprehensively didn't detract from the day's outing at all, did it? It was a top
shot in
game.
the arm for rugby league.
Well, you better believe
They were great tries, weren't
It was great work by Eastern
Bobby
Suburbs
Fulton,
to
their
change.
coach I spoke to, he had this to say. Come on, Bob. Being a super realist as you are you going to face the problem of a little bit of overconfidence with your boys? They've knocked off the main contender.
Well, Rex, our form over the last 2 weeks has been reasonable. I've been reasonably happy with it, considering our form in the second half against Cronulla we were back on the rails after that, I thought, and it was proven by our wins over the next two sides, who were North Sydney and St George, and culminating in a reasonable sort of a win here. I think we've got a fair bit of improvement in us too. But so have Parramatta on today's performance. They can play a lot better.
And perhaps the best try of the day was scored in reserve grade, and I reservedly say this was one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen. And we've got a little bit of tape on it, which will show Gurr taking a mark just near his goal line in reserve grade, Parramatta and East, unloads to right. You'll have to help me with the name of this player with the black hair and the fuzzy sort of hair there. Who's that on the inside?
Oh, I know him by his nickname, Rex, and it's Pull-Through.
Pull-Through. Oh, well, there you are. OK, well, Pull-Through was involved, and they're right scores. That's a 110-metre try. That's an incredible try. So I thought I would throw that one in just to show that all the good football doesn't take place in first grade.
It was a very good game. It was a game that really any side which could have won the game, because it was a toss-up, because Parramatta scored a try there in the second half, which rebounded off us, but that's rugby league, and it was a game which could have went either way.
You had your chances, didn't you?
We had our chances, yeah, and
Tom, for the
didn't
first,
win the game.
For the first 16 minutes of the game, Newtown unleashed all sorts of
try
pressure,
too.
didn't they?
Did
It
try.
looks a bit that way, doesn't
Well,
it?
what
does,
do
yeah.
you have to say?
However, and you had all the pressure in the world on
Parramatta.
Their defence was magnificent, I thought, but by the same token, I thought if you were going to win the game yesterday, you had to put points on the board when you had all that pressure on. Do you agree with that?
Not really, because in semi-final football, the defence is very, very good, especially near the line. Well, you've got to tackle very, very hard, and full credit to Parramatta, they held us out.
Well, they
and
did, yeah.
we tried our best to score. We let the ball run. We tried everything. We tried bombs. We tried everything, but we couldn't
had
crack
three
the line.
bombs, and still couldn't crack it.
Still couldn't crack
Pretty
it.
good stuff.
So it was good defence,
I was surprised at the Conservative reporting, because it was a hard, tough game. There was no silly business in it there. The forwards ground away relentlessly, and the tries are as good as anything you see this year. I can't understand why there wasn't a bigger rap put on the game.
Well, Ferdy, just to hold on that, I think one of the newspapers are on strike. I don't think the top journos have written a lot of the stuff that's in this morning's paper.
All right, I believe you.
Oh, well, what about you, Col?
Well, I was surprised at the opening game, and you must have been surprised as the halfback for Newton to see Kevin Stevens feeding the ball in for Parramatta with the first three scrums. Tom, were you surprised?
No, I wasn't. I suppose I was surprised, but I don't know what Jack had in mind, but it didn't worry me at all, so...
Well, I was surprised that everybody else was. I was surprised...
Five-man pack early on,
yeah, with a five-man pack at that game when they were defending, putting the ball in, had an experienced man to Sterling of feeding the scrums, and he came up with the second row that had no experience of feeding the scrum.
No,
and the first time that Sterling put the ball in scrum, he was penalised, which was surprising enough too.
Maybe you show your halfback how to do it. If you don't get penalised, why should he?
But this game got off to a completely different start than you'd think you were going to the cricket ground to see, didn't you? Like from the kick-off, Sigsworth's run half the length of the field.
Well, that's right, because usually semi-finals are very tight, but the thing is, like, Ziggy made that bust and put us on the attack straight away, so we had to try to score because we had the pressure on and things like that. Otherwise it would have been probably a slower game, a tighter game, but it just didn't start off that way.
Well, Tom, including the players at the ground, everybody in the place was surprised at the start. It was
because
just
Newtown went back to playing good attacking football.
It just zoomed away.
After 4 weeks of negative football, apart from last week.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, Rex. The thing is that That's the way the game opened, because you got the split. Otherwise,
what I'm saying is this, Tom. I'm not trying to talk you down. What I'm saying is this: you people got into the top 5 by playing a very attractive brand of football,
right?
And suddenly, in the last month, Newtown have gone quiet and they've gone grinding.
Yeah, but the grinding football, we won our last 3 games. Now, if we would have lost that game when we played Cronulla,
you won a hell of a lot of your early games playing very attractive football using Blacklock and Ferguson.
True. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, Rex, is that those last 3 games we had to win, especially against Cronulla, to consolidate our position in the first 3, which we did, and we won by grafting away. So the tactics were good. We won. We got the first 3.
A win's a win, of course. I can't argue.
I don't think anyone's going to win in that argument anyway.
No, we could both go on.
That's
forever.
right. Well,
but this is the opening break. I missed this completely because I was doing some statistics at the time. I had just started off with saying Newtown are receiving the ball, and suddenly Sigsworth goes through what's normally an impregnable defence, and makes this beautiful break, which puts you right on attack right from the word go.
Yeah. You said something before to young Sigsworth when you had him on here, Rex, about that he does bust a lot of tackles like that. He must be terribly strong on the legs.
Yeah,
well, I don't know. He doesn't look strong, does he?
No, he's very lightly framed, but he's very strong in himself, you know.
Yeah,
and,
I reckon.
And he's a great footballer.
One of the complaints yesterday was about the state of the ground.
First, let's get on to that in a minute, mate. We're going to say a fair bit about that. A few highlights in the game yesterday. Was this a try?
Yeah, I've got
Well, let's have a look at it again, Peter Moss, my director, if you'd be kind enough. Just cue that back again, please. Nice and slow over that last stage. The referee is pretty well placed, as you can see. We're going to get it cued back. This is from the bomb. The bounce was a wicked one. The rugby league ball, rugby union ball can do anything, can't it? You get predictability with a soccer ball, but not with either a VFL ball doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But look at this, you know, it goes at right angles. Now, Hetherington number 4. Does he get a downward pressure on the ball? Cole Pearce seems to have been a little bit.
Well, the ball's got to be on the ground. It was in the air, you know, when he come down. He didn't make proper contact with the ball on the ground. I think the technical side of it there, I wouldn't disagree with the referee, to be quite candid.
It doesn't matter whether he...
No, it does not. But I think, the important part is the ball must be on the ground. It was in the air at that stage.
This was a great opportunity. Tiluk Sig was halfway through the gap. The pass, and Ella's hand just knocks it down.
Yeah.
That looked as though it was going to be a try.
So we had our chances.
You had your chances.
With respect to the referee in that last one that he awarded no try, even if it had awarded a try, like he still wouldn't make him in the hot seat, would it? He was just a...
No, I tend to think
it's not the referee's fault.
I tend to think that he made the right decision, but I mean, I'm sitting 70 yards away from the action like everyone else. So,
well, I think you go back to the first penalty you got, Tom. I'd be very dubious whether that was the correct too, to be quite candid with you.
A little bit of lack of subtlety there on one occasion, Tom, from one of your forwards. Have a look at this. Now, what's a referee supposed to do in these situations?
Catch it.
Good on him. Good on him, Arnie.
Any point
I think that was Walter's hand going down there and got that one out.
Well, we didn't. One thing about it, we didn't win much ball yesterday, you know, and and the thing is, we had to try anything we could, you know, to win the ball.
You got 4 in a row when Jensen came on.
My word, you?
Yeah, well, apparently, but I thought Jimmy Wallace is a good footballer, and Jimmy played well. But
it was 8-all when he went off the scrums.
Yeah,
but that's right. It was 8-all. But the thing is, they had a lot. Remember the first half, we were in their territory all the time. Well, they had all the feeds too, so which helps a bit if their hooker walks in with their half-back, you know.
Well, one criticism I had yesterday, Tom, over the Newtown players is on a number of occasions, Parramatta either knocked forward, knocked on, and the ball was available to the Newtown players, and did not capitalise on
that sort of opportunity.
No, well, you know.
I reckon how lucky was Ray Price. I've not seen a worse injury than this, or a potential worse injury. I've got vivid recollections. I broke my own ankle on this ground in that position. Look at his leg. Now, that's an absolute horror. About 10 yards from there, I broke my ankle in 1960 against France, and I felt absolutely terrified that Price was going to do the same. Evidently, his doctor assured me after that he hasn't done so. But what about the Kenny Wilson missed goal? Now, has Kenny ever missed a goal like this before? Look, it was
just
horrible.
a non-event, wasn't it?
It never looked like it. See, you missed 3 goals yesterday.
Another 100 out of 100.
Yeah, well, I remember that one.
Phil Gills, and he kicked it half up.
35 yards.
Yeah.
And they kicked a tremendous goal just before that, like in the first half.
And the old saying, Don Bradman made a duck, didn't he? Like that's on all the...
Well, Mick Cronin kicked a magnificent goal.
Well, I talked to Mick Cronin after the game, and I asked him about the hoodoo, but this is the interview with Mick Cronin.
Oh, I don't actually think so, Rex, but as you've got a record as far as club games with Parramatta. It doesn't look very impressive. But every time I come to the cricket ground, any game, I expect to kick the goals. But as you said, my record with Parramatta hasn't been that impressive.
Since 1977, since you came to Parramatta Club, you've only kicked 23 goals in premiership matches from 68 attempts at the SCG, which is only 34%. And your normal success rate, 66%.
Well, it doesn't look good.
Are you sure there's no problems in there?
Well, I don't. There could be a few problems in there, I don't know.
Maybe the club need to get you psychoanalysed or something.
Oh, I don't know about that, Rex.
who kicked the first goal.
All right, well, that was the Cronin interview, and then I had a yarn with Warren Ryan after, and I suggested it might have been the one that got away.
Yeah, I suppose so. That goal kicker was a most uncharacteristic miss by Kenny Wilson at the end. And
now, you're closely associated with your team. Obviously, you're the coach, and that's a trite thing for me to say. But I've been critical personally of Newtown's style the last month. I thought you got into the top 5 by playing a very exhilarating brand of football, and suddenly it's back again today.
Well, I've got no great answer for that. We have our ups and downs, and there are times when you play sides that you have to play a certain style of football to beat them. I think we've proved that.
And now to talk to the big bear himself, one of the most loved men in rugby league, here is Ian Maurice.
Bob, I don't think there can be any doubt that you deserve this award for your performance against Manly last week, but how much did that tough game take out of you?
Well, I found it very hard. I thought it was probably the fastest game of the season for Parramatta anyway. Cumberland Oval's no picnic to fall on either too, and I thought it was a pretty hard body contact game, so I think most of our blokes were feeling the after effects of that game.
Do you think that attributed to, shall we say, a little bit of a flat performance yesterday?
Could have possibly, yeah. I'd say, you know, we had a lot of guys that didn't declare themselves available for the game yesterday till later in the week, and I think probably in themselves they probably didn't feel as 100% as what they should have.
I've seen you play some superb games this year, and I think probably the performance last week capped a great year for you.
Well, it was good to have a game like that on Cumberland Oval when, you know, the last game of the season there, and especially with a lot of the old greats that were there that I, you know, had something to do with when I first started, which made me feel a lot better, and yeah, it's very nice.
Let's have a look at your performance last week against Manly, and as you say, it was fitting that it was a farewell to Cumberland, but it's not a farewell to the Bear, is it?
Oh, I don't know about that. The way I feel today.
Yes, yesterday's game, as I say, obviously had you a little bit flat, and the team as well. But the cricket ground surface yesterday, was that harder than Cumberland?
Well, Cumberland feels like a mattress compared to the centre of the cricket ground. I don't know what they've been doing out there, but I thought were they ready for the cricket season, are they?
Yeah, it was obviously a very hard game last weekend yesterday, and you know, I think you ought to be congratulated for a man of your age, and I know you're not that old. Are you prepared to tell us how old you are?
Oh, well, I tell the truth. It's in the programs.
33.
32.
32.
Yeah, give me another year.
All right.
You're in the bush somewhere.
Yeah. You were talked out of virtual retirement by Jack Gibson during the last off-season. He must be particularly pleased with the year that you've had.
Well, I owe a lot to Jack. You know, obviously I wouldn't have been playing there this year at all if Gibbo hadn't have been coaching Parramatta. And I think with himself and the staff that he has around him, they've shown a little bit of personal interest in me throughout the whole year. And I probably need a little bit of egging on, you know, to get myself going most of the time. But I've lost quite a lot of weight, and I've trained very hard, and I'm just glad to be in this position where we are right now. You know, chance of winning the grand final, which is something that I haven't achieved since I've been playing.
Is this the lightest you've been in, what, 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been lighter. You know, I feel really good.
You say that you owe a lot to Jack. Well, Jack's going to be there next year. When are you going to make a final decision?
Well, I think I'll wait and see how I finish this season, and have a few weeks off and put a bit of weight back on again, and and then I'll decide. You know, but the way I feel now, it's you know, it's quite possible that I could play another year in Sydney. It's not out of the question.
Mm-hmm. We had a film clip a couple of weeks ago of a regular after training barbecue at Cumberland, and mate, I've got to ask you the question: how many hot dogs did you eat?
They weren't hot dogs. They were sausage sandwiches, you know, nice little sausage sandwiches.
How many did you eat?
Well, I saw Jack and he said there wasn't too many calories in them, so he let me have a few.
Good on you, mate. Congratulations. There's a cheque for $200 coming to you from Tooth, and best of luck in the big one at the end of the season.
Thanks very much.
Good on you, Bob.
So many Parramatta players played well, but I finally went for this little bloke, young Sterling, Peter, and I think it's as good a game as I've ever seen him play. Were you that happy about your own personal performance?
Well, I think the side went very well, and as you say,
we had a lot of award winners in the side yesterday, but I was happy with my game, yeah.
Young Muggleton was one that stood right from the word go.
Well, he had an outstanding game, yeah.
As if Jack Gibson had wound him up and he wasn't going to run down, you know?
Well, John had his chance yesterday, and it's been a long time coming, and he grasped it with 2 hands.
Well, you likely had to grasp that pass with 2 hands. I don't know whether you saw it, but it was one from between the legs, and it was like a slip catch you had to do. Do you remember that?
I get a few of those. Stephen Ed's throwing them from dummy half. So.
Do you think that occasionally that was overdone? Your coach believes it was. The set moves, he thought perhaps he put too many on yesterday with that crisscross thing you do.
Well, yeah, we tried a few new things yesterday, and they obviously didn't come off too well, but you've got to try them to see if they are going to come off, and that's what we did. So.
Peter, you've grown in stature as a footballer. I interviewed you early in your first grade career, and you were a young lad then, in every sense of the word. You're quite a mature bloke now in the confidence area, it's all grown, hasn't it?
Well, I think I've been in good company the whole time I've been in Sydney, with a great club and a lot of experienced players in the club, and I think that's got to benefit a young guy like myself, as it has done all the young guys at Parramatta.
What age is the young guy?
Well, I'm just turned 21.
Yeah, so you've got years in front of you yet. We haven't done the most important thing yet, Peter, have we? Give you the $600 cheque, which I know your little hand was going up for there. With, I'm sorry about that. We should have done that early. Very tempting to leave the cheque on the table there, and I can see your hand moving towards it. But this now straight away into the grand final, and that's exactly what your coach would have wanted.
Well, that's the greatest thing that could have happened for us, for sure, with the week off, and we're there now, and the others have got to get there.
That's right. First time since '77 you've made the grand finals. Let's have a look at the try that we judged to be the best of this particular match. It was a good try too. It was laid on by Bob O'Reilly. We put him as the man most responsible for that lovely pass.
Kenny's got the spin on the inside. That pass looked forward. No! Hilditch has gone back for it with one hand and pulled it in.
So would you be kind enough to give that to Bob O'Reilly? I caution you, it's a cross check.
Yeah, well...
So you can't put it into Peter Sterling's bank account.
No, that'll be fine.
Not that he would. OK, until the season ends, our weekly award winners will receive in a...
I think Eastern Suburbs will and can improve 100% on that. The week off just hasn't helped them. Their handling in that first half I thought was awful. And I really honestly believe they will improve 100%. I don't think Parramatta can.
Closeness of the scores made it an interesting game, but it wasn't great football. I think the occasion got to both teams. But Parramatta, you've certainly got to give it to them. They've got a lot of heart, and I think there were a few blunders made there yesterday, tactically, by both sides. And I suppose in the end, those 2 goal kicks by Cronin saved what would have been a barrage of criticism.
Yes, but I'm the leader of the band. I'm the Sister Anna carrying the banner about Mick Cronin in the Sydney Cricket Ground. But that didn't dispel my doubts about Cronin yesterday. That wasn't the pressure that I'm talking of. I'm talking about of grand final pressure, and he's still got to prove it in a grand final, and I wish him well. I hope that his football career in Sydney doesn't go out on the note that under pressure of a grand final he buckles.
Just maybe case that criticism's just what he needed, because he's obviously concentrating very hard on his kicks now. He lines them up and he just says I'm not going to miss them.
Well, good luck to him, but Frank, I'm going to give some more criticism now, and I'll give it before we can get too far into this. I cannot understand how Hastings, for the first time this season, did not use the tactical kicks. I cannot understand how Hastings, a fortnight before, had played so brilliantly. He had a week off, a week's rest. He won the Dally M Award during the week, was runner-up the previous week in the Rothman Medal, and I thought Hastings had the lowest game that he's had in 5 years of Sydney first-grade football. Frank?
He won the Rothmans Medal. He won. He wasn't runner-up.
Oh, sorry.
I agree. He had a
low game,
a lower than normal game, but
didn't kick at all.
No, I'll tell you why. Because he's dropped the ball 22 times, and if you haven't got the ball and you haven't consistently got it, you can't kick it.
Yes, but they had plenty of penalties. Case was talking about using the tactical kicking and they had plenty of ball from scrums and everything too. But I feel that the game was close yesterday because Manly, Eastern Suburbs weren't as good as they were the last time they played Parramatta, and Parramatta improved 100%. I thought it was a good game. I enjoyed it with all the faults that were there, the dropping of the ball and all that sort of thing, but I'm sure Harvey won't want to remember that game for too long, and many of the other Eastern Suburbs players too. They will improve. They must improve if they're going to go any further in the
It was a good game because it held your interest throughout, didn't it?
Well, if we're going to hold the viewers' interest, let's show them some tape. Now, here's the match coming up, and the first controversial incident came after 11 minutes. Now, this pass was ruled forward and a no try. Now, if you think that one's controversial, wait till you have a look at the one that Hilditch went in for a try on.
That wasn't controversial, though.
Well, I think it was forward. Definitely a forward pass. Now, here's Gitto, just on half-time, pulled down short of the line, the ball here didn't go over the line at any stage, so there's no way it could be a try.
And he didn't play it forward.
But at the time, he played it forward, and it looked as though it was controversial. But Hartley was right again on this occasion. Here it is, head on.
See how he played the advantage, really? Could have given East a penalty there. The Parramatta players lying all over the tackle player.
Now, we go to 3 minutes into the second half, and the fairy tale comes true. Hastings to Laurie, and Laurie, after 8 weeks in reserve grade, goes in to make it 5-0. At this stage, East look to be home and hosed. Look at the way Laurie goes past Price here.
Yeah, well, very fresh and fit Rocky Laurie.
That's right. Replacements, Jack, replacements.
Against a player that just didn't let up in that first half.
Here's the controversial pass from Kenny. Back to the left. Now, Hilditch was offside. Doesn't matter that he collared the ball in. Hilditch was indeed offside. He was in an offside position to begin with. Look.
Gee, there's not an inch in that.
I don't think so either.
Not an inch.
I've seen it 10 times now, and I still don't know whether he's offside or not. The ball travelled along that line, Case.
Yes, but he was offside.
No, he wasn't. He's not in front of that line.
He was.
And Kenny was on the line.
Stand there and wait for Kenny to come to him.
Kenny was on the line, and so was Hilditch.
Okay.
This is the turning point.
This is the turning point of the game. This is Sterling not put down by Fay, ultimately yes. Quick hands by Ella, onto Growth. Growth goes in. That made it 8-5. Now we come to the 37th minute. We'll see that one again head on, I think, because that, you're quite right. Sterling had a superb game.
See, Warnicky misses him
Warnicky missed him badly.
Terry Fay had him and then let him go. Look at this.
Terry.
The smallest player in the field.
Yeah.
And there's the even up with the elbows in the back. Thank you. Now, 16 minutes gone, and that was the try. And now, with a couple of minutes to go in the match, here is O'Reilly taking it up close to the line.
That's the most vital aspect of the game. If he could have scored there, it would have been handy for Giddo to kick the goal, but they had to go wide.
What inexperience, no one out there to cover. Growth was standing in amongst the forwards.
Yeah, watch where Growth is here.
Yeah.
There he is, number 5, dummy half.
But there's great disarray in the Parramatta line-up here because they had 4 new players on.
Yeah, and they're all in a bunch there.
Arthur or Martha.
No, I thought that was a major blunder taking off O'Reilly.
Extra time, and at this stage, Edge officially protested that a 7th tackle try had been made by Gitto, and that took us into the situation, the final 10 minutes. Now we're looking at Des O'Reilly trying to steal the ball from Muggleton. Cronin kicked the goal after 2 minutes, and it became 10-8.
These really brought themselves unstuck, didn't they, these 2 penalties?
They didn't deserve to win, Jeff. Now, look at this. Harvey's over the top with the swinging arm after 6 minutes. It's 12-8. Cronin finished up kicking 3 from 4. It was the ball game, 12-8. Eastern Suburbs going down to Parramatta in that major semi-final. Now, I've been a little bit hard on a few players there, gentlemen, but really, there were so many stupid things done in that match that the questions have to be asked.
That's right. Well, certainly East have got to ask how... First of all, John Harvey threw a silly pass and then gave away a ridiculous penalty in extra time, and that was ultimately the difference in 100 minutes of football, those two mistakes.
There's only 2 goals the difference, Ron, and yet Parramatta did a lot less silly things than what Eastern Suburbs did.
Exactly.
Now, you know Eastern Suburbs can eliminate all that, and by
Look, I think Eastern Suburbs are still good things. I think that they will come back and do it the hard way as they did in the other 2 premierships
there will be changes to that side.
There has to be.
But even at half-time, without any points on the board for either side, I still think Parramatta was the better side after 40 minutes of play.
Yeah.
On an error count basis or on a play basis?
On a play basis.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you.
Well, I thought their players performed better. I mean, you look at the number of players at Sterling, Hilditch, Price, O'Reilly, Muggleton. I mean, they were good performances.
I think Muggleton's inclusion in the side was a blessing for Parramatta.
It was, as it turned out. Now, let's have a look at the controversy of Gitto's try being scored on the 7th tackle. Here was conclusive proof that it was scored on the 6th tackle. Now, if you watch it, here's the play coming up.
Laurie the boosted.
Now,
tackle.
That's one tackle.
Now no, it's no tackles yet. We've got to start yet. There's the penalty. Now we have the tap, and this is where the Parramatta bar drinker or whoever it was who gave the information, he counted the tap as a tackle. Well, it's not. Now that is 1 tackle. 2. Somebody start counting. Because I lose it after 3.
Well, we haven't got to 3.
Yeah, we have got.
That's 3 now.
See, I've lost it already.
There's 3.
Greg, come and give me some lessons, will you?
Pat Michael's not watching this. Here comes 4.
Michael, by the way, is my 7-year-old. Now, here it is.
It's 5, Ron.
5.
It's Des O'Reilly.
Right. Now we're on the 6th tackle.
He's got the right signal too.
That he has. There's no doubt in the world that was a legitimate try. But we come to the fact, and I want to deal with this quickly because I have other things I want to talk about, that the Rugby League doesn't seem to be able to make rules that fit the occasion. They knocked back Parramatta in 1978 from their protest after the match with Manly that was refereed by Hartley because indeed there was no protest made during the match. Now we have the situation where they did protest during the match, as it turned out incorrectly, and people are saying today that it was, a standover tactic to intimidate Greg Hartley in those final 20 minutes.
I personally think, Ron, the point you make is very valid, but I think Hartley's a much bigger man than to be intimidated by an action such as that. He's had a lot of experience, he's refereed a lot of grand finals. I think he would have taken that protest in his stride.
I think it was a harassment by the Parramatta camp, and I think
but excuse me, they had to do it or else they didn't have a legal leg to stand on.
Well, I'd like to know how, and I've heard rumours that a cricket ground member in the bar looking at the replay of the try counted 7 tackles. He obviously doesn't know the rules, and from that Parramatta went and the instruction went out for the protest. Now, you know, if that's how Parramatta are so obsessed with the man that refereed yesterday, I think that they were harassing him, and I think that the league should do something about it.
No, I disagree completely. You can't have it both ways, Peter. If the league says that you must protest while the match is on in order to have some legal comeback after the match is over...
Put yourself in Hartley's position where it is 8-all, and the captain of the side, and you've just awarded a try against them, has said, I am formally protesting, I'm officially protesting, I think it was 7 tackles.
Yes.
I think it was 7 tackles.
The scenario for that scene was set, my friend, back in '78 with the terrible goings-on of that semi-final and final series. Now, don't blame Parramatta for legally trying to cover themselves in this situation today.
No, but perhaps...
I think it was the wrong thing to do to a referee.
I don't think so. The league has made that scene.
Coming up.
Case, as far as I'm concerned, it's much ado about nothing. I'm not concerned whether a try is scored on the 7th tackle or the 8th tackle. The side defending should tackle a man. And I mean, you can't use that as an excuse for a try being scored against you.
And they will always be known as the whingers of rugby league while they go on with this rubbish, and no other club in the league does it.
Ron, perhaps the league could fine them for a frivolous protest.
Excuse me? No. The league should allow up to 15 minutes after the match for an official protest to be lodged. You shouldn't make players, in the heat of the moment, carry out an instruction such as Edge had to carry out. Now, it's the league rules that are at fault, and also I'd like the league to be a little more clear on what happens with these replacements. Now, Parramatta, yesterday, didn't have fresh replacements. Apparently, it was published by a very reputable rugby league writer, Alan Clarkson, because they were not allowed to. They asked the league, and the league told them they weren't allowed to have fresh replacements on the sideline because they had the reserve and under-23s playing. Now, that is just a load of hogwash. That's not the rule at all.
I don't think that's right, Case. I think Parramatta elected not to have
that's the way I wrote it earlier in the week.
They didn't want
Clarkson
yesterday
in the Herald, I know, but the way Clarkson wrote it in the Herald yesterday, he said that the league's rules made them play only players as replacements who'd been in earlier matches.
Completed an earlier match. I mean, the fact was that Parramatta would have been penalised because each could have put on fresh replacements at any stage, and Parramatta weren't able to have players on in the early game and come on as a replacement unless they had played a completed game.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Which I feel is wrong.
That's wrong.
Well, each have had replacements too, haven't they?
No, but excuse me, that's misinformation, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would the league please make their rules clear? You know, you ring up the PR section there and you just don't get answers. I don't directly because I don't talk to them, but my offsiders do.